It's 7 minutes away from Jonestown, 13 minutes before it gets into Boone, and about 24 minutes from Marks, 27 minutes from Lambert, 31 minutes from Tutwiler, and about 39 minutes from Como. 46 minutes before Batesville deals with this. This is moving at about 45 miles per hour, so it's coming along at a pretty good clip. But again, we have the tornado warning, and really we have overlapping warnings in here. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning, and we've got the tornado warning. So two warnings on top. Coahoma, Phillips, Quitman, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning, and then the National Weather Service put the tornado warning on top of that when the rotation seemed to be a bit more obvious. Tell you what, let's take a closer look at it. Meteorologist Spencer Denton's been watching this as well. He'll join me in just a second. We'll analyze that cluster of storms. I really think this may be a very heavy wind maker for the most part as it moves across much of northern Mississippi, but the tornado threat is certainly there right now. I also want to track this segment of the storm that's moving through Fayette County because that's pretty significant as well. And as a matter of fact, just putting a track on this entire line through Shelby County, that's going to move east. That will take that into Summerville in about 4 minutes. We'll see it move into Fayette Corners in 10 minutes, 17 minutes from Whiteville, about 23 minutes away from Clover Point. In a half an hour, we'll see it move into Bolivar. Salisbury, it's coming for you in about 38 minutes, 42 minutes away from Silerton, and about 45 minutes away from Hornsby. Now, we've also got another severe thunderstorm warning as the second round of thunderstorm activity really starting to intensify and firing up. This right now coming on through Haywood County. Let's put a track on that because as it moves off to the east, it too is going to bring the threat of flash flooding, lightning, and damaging wind along with the potential for some hail in there. So it's about 4 minutes away from Three-Way, 11 minutes from Jackson, 15 minutes from Bemis. It'll be in Hickory Flat in about 24 minutes, and then Blue Goose in 27 minutes, Luray in 33, Clarksburg in 38 minutes, and into Lexington in about 44 minutes. Let's look at the lightning on this because there is a lot of lightning just within that one cell. 652 strikes of lightning. We take a look at this area that is right there around Shelby County. There's a tremendous amount of lightning in there. Lightning has potential to take power out and, of course, even cause damage. 285 strikes of lightning just on that view and primarily into Shelby and Fayette County right now. Want to focus back in on this area to the south. Meteorologist Spencer Denton, he's looking at it closely, and I think he's ready to join us. Is Spencer available? All right, let's talk to Spencer. Spencer, this was that cell that was moving out of Arkansas into Shea counties earlier, and we anticipated some intensity with that, but it's really starting to fire up right now, huh?
Yeah, it really is, and the BTI on it's around a 4.2, so it's kind of where we've been in that range for some of these other tornado-warned storms tonight. Some of the stronger ones have been up around a 6 or a 7, but this one at a 4.2. I circled the area of rotation with this in white, so if you look at that little white circle there, you can see just north of Elaine, Arkansas. It's moving to the east, just north of Jonestown. That's where the exact circulation is, so that's within that red polygon. So when you look in within that, and those are some of the areas that will be impacted, including Eagle Landing, Trotter Landing, Barbie over toward Carter. And again, we have the secondary, that secondary area of circulation. I'll circle that as well. That is right here. That's just west of Duncan, Mississippi, and that's going to impact portions of southern Coahoma County. So you've got the one that's going into northern Coahoma County and then southern Tunica County, and you've got the secondary one down here. So a couple that we're watching, and again, there is some decent circulation. Let me clear some of this off so you can see it a little bit better, and I'll zoom in. And you can see just north of Friars Point. This is around the Lakeview community, around Old Town. This is just north of Pilgrim's Rest. And this is going to go just south of Preston Place, in between Preston Place and Delta, it looks like, and then eventually over toward Lula. So that's where the rotation is right now. And again, this is looking pretty high up. We're still looking at this this cell, and I'm actually using the Little Rock radar, seeing it at about 7,400 feet. I'll switch over to the next rad real quick in Memphis and see what we're looking at here. and it looks like we're seeing it at about that's about 6,000, so it's a little bit closer to the Memphis NEXRAD right now. But there's the you can clearly see that that circulation. In fact, I'll just show it to you. I'll draw it out. Green is going toward the radar, and red is going away from the radar. So if we look at the green, this is going toward the Memphis NEXRAD, and this is going away, and that's that circulation right there just north of Lakeview. So if you're in Preston Place and Powell, Helena Crossing, you need to be sure and take those tornado precautions now. But Ron, again, these storms, like you said, they're feeding off of a little higher instability in that one particular area of North Mississippi, but hopefully we'll see these weaken some as it all comes together in one line here in the next little bit.
Yeah, I am hopeful that this will become more of a straight line wind event, but the Storm Prediction Center and the National Weather Service still thinking that the potential for additional tornadoes possible. As a matter of fact, a new tornado watch was issued just around 9 o'clock this evening, and it now encompasses much of West Tennessee, northern Mississippi, virtually all of North Mississippi, and counties along and south of the I-40 corridor in eastern Arkansas. And again, this is going to start, was issued at 9. It's going to go until 4 a.m. So we could be in for a long night in many parts of the Mid-South. Spencer's showing you the area with the most activity, but there is a lot to talk about. I do want to say that I think much of the Memphis metro is now out of the woods as far as the most significant storm threat goes. I still want to watch this area that's back to the west, and that is going to move off to the east, so it will bring with it a chance for some additional heavy rainfall. We've already seen, by the way, more than 2.5 inches of rain across the area. This will not let me draw that out. I tell you what, I'll track the northern portion of that. So that'll move into Crawfordsville in 6 minutes. We'll see it move into West Memphis in about 13 minutes, 18 minutes before it gets into Mound City. And then we're going to see additional heavy rainfall in about 28 minutes in Memphis, 36 minutes in Sloanville, 37 minutes from Bartlett, 47 minutes from Lakeland, and it's going to be about 55 minutes from Arlington. That's the northern portion. Let's track the part that's going to move across northern Mississippi, because that too is going to impact a lot of folks. It'll move through Norfolk in 3 minutes. We'll see it get into Walls in 9 minutes. It's 19 minutes away from Lake. This is not severe, but it is very heavy rain, and that will increase the flash flooding threat, and there may even be a little hail in there. Hernando, 25 minutes away from you, 29 minutes from Capable, and it will move into Olive Branch in about 36 minutes, 46 minutes before we see it get into Collierville, and about 52 minutes from Piperton. So Collierville, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning right now with this cell that is moving through the area there in southeastern Shelby County. So now and really Collierville just dealing with light to moderate rainfall, heavier precipitation around Eads and moving on into Oakville. But this is coming in behind you. There is some lightning in there. As a matter of fact, we're seeing lightning strikes starting to pick up here, and that's maxing out at about 299 strikes just within that cell. So this is what we're watching moving through Shelby County right now, or coming into Shelby County from the west, and what is moving out of Shelby County, producing about 245 strikes there. But still a lot of activity around, and the most intense, where we have the 2 tornado warnings right now, that is in effect for Lee, Phillips, Coahoma County. We're also seeing it for Quitman County, and it looks like it's going to be a little while before that moves through. Let's put a track on these storms. First of all, let's take a look at where the greatest threat for rotation may be within these cells, within this whole cell. And I'm hitting this. My scope won't go quite as far as the computer system that Spencer's using, but there is some pretty good rotation that's in there right there. And I tell you what, I'm going to zoom into that just a little more, and then we're going to put a track on that to show you where that's going to go in the next few minutes. But this is where we could be seeing some rotation still working its way through Phillips County. That's just to the south of Helena, West Helena. So I want folks in that area to be weather aware. Really, you need to be in your storm shelter right now or in the safest place of your home. Lowest level of the floor, away from exterior walls and windows. Put as many walls between you and the outdoors as possible, because we could have a potential tornado on the ground. And tonight, it's difficult to tell. We've got a lot of rain in this, so this whole cell could be rain wrapped, or the tornado could be rain wrapped, and it's nighttime. We can get no visual confirmation out of it either way. But with the track, and we're going to track it from that little area right there, and we'll move it off to the east, because I think that's the direction that it's moving. It's going more of an east-northeast movement. But it will bring it into Coahoma in about 3 minutes, about 9 minutes from Rose Acres. We'll see it get into Birdie in 14 minutes, 23 minutes before it gets into Falcon. And we'll see it move into Sledge in about 26 minutes. So this is going to be impacting Coahoma, Quitman, and then Panola County. And let's put a pan on this. I'm going to move this over. We're going to zoom out just a little bit, and let's track that whole line as it gets ready to move through our southern counties of our coverage area. And the track that I'm going to put on this will be from the leading edge of this cell east through Panola County. We'll even take it through the Sardis Lake area. It'll move into Jonestown in about 6 minutes, 10 minutes before it gets into Clarksdale, 26 minutes from Horatio. We'll see this in Marks in about 27 minutes. Sardis, 37 minutes away, about 47 minutes before it moves into Batesville, 57 minutes from Pope, Mississippi, and about 67 minutes before it moves into Oakland. This is a pretty impressive little cell, and it is holding together very well. It is making a move to the east-northeast at about 45 miles per hour, but there's a lot of lightning in there. And as a matter of fact, just on this view right here, let's track this from the southern portion of it. We got 1,000 strikes of lightning. 1,000 strikes of lightning from just south of Tunica along the Mississippi River down to around southern Phillips County. So that's a tremendous amount of lightning in there, and there is a lot of some pretty significant wind in there too. So especially in this area right here, that's just now beginning to cross. That's just now beginning to cross into northern Coahoma County. So that's what we're looking at there. I think another tornado warning has been issued. Let's go back to Spencer. Spencer, am I seeing a fourth tornado warning that was just issued? Is that a new warning that's just popped up?
Yeah, it looks like right now there's 3 or 4 of them, and they just issued for Tunica, it looks like. That one continues for the next, let's see, this one goes until 10:30. The one south of that goes until 10:30 as well, and then another one for the southern sections of Clarksdale. So this really, all of these warnings include Tunica, Quitman, and Coahoma County, and then they stretch a little further south toward Duncan and just north of Shelby. So this is right along the river, and again, I'm watching the BTI still hanging in there at a 4.4 right now, and we're still seeing a couple different areas of rotation as I look at this. The one that's really the most concerning right now is this area of rotation near Helena. It's kind of broad though now. It's not near as, it looks pretty broad. In fact, I'll show it to you here real quick. And this is the part of the storm going toward the radar and part of it going away. But look how far away those that red and green is from each other. So there's another little area here just west of Jonestown that we'll kind of have to keep an eye on. And again, this gets on the edge of the radar range. So sometimes we can switch over to Little Rock. So if I switch over to Little Rock, and I'll show you the velocity from there. So this is just looking at the wind. This is heading toward Lula right now and Powell, and that's the areas we've been talking about. And again, we're looking at those areas really just to the south of Fires Point as well. But this there's definitely some wind within this. If I query the wind here real quick, this is showing me 70. That was 79 mile an hour wind. So even if there's not a tornado with this, there could be 80 mile per hour winds with this system. So let me go back one more time and see if I can get into this. 83, I'm showing, and that's, again, that's higher up. That's looking at about 4,000 feet high, so, or even higher than that. This one's looking at 7. Let me go back to the next rad from Memphis and go back to the velocity here, and I'll see what it looks like there.
It's about 6,000 feet up. I think we're hitting that around 6,000 feet.
Yeah, so that's 74 miles per hour. So it's probably 60 to 70 mile per hour winds with this, even if there isn't a tornado with it right now. But we're pretty far away, so it would be hard to see. We would have to have confirmation, in which we have not had at this point any confirmation of anything on the ground.
One of the things that we also look at, and can you put, Brian, can you put the links behind me? I want to point out something on here too, because Spencer's computer, if you can put that behind me. You see this little Boeing segment right here? It looks like there's a little circulation right here. Oftentimes along a Boeing segment, you can get a little vortex that pops up on the northern portion of it, or even along the southern portion of it. In other words, as this is moving on, this portion of the storm is moving much faster than the northern portion of the southern portion. So as a result, as this is moving through the atmosphere, it creates a little eddy. And that can create the little vortex that could lead to a brief touchdown. Typically in a situation like this, we see something like an EF0, maybe an EF1, but I think the fact that we're seeing the potential for that rotation, that's an indication also that there could be some significant straight line wind. While we were showing you that storm we were tracking in Shelby County, the National Weather Service issued a severe thunderstorm warning for it. Let's go back to my radar, Brian, and let me show you First Alert Doppler 5 radar. And this warning was just issued while Spencer was analyzing those storms, and this is for that cell that we were tracking as it was coming on through. So now we've got a brand new severe thunderstorm warning. This is for Shelby County until 10:45. Crittenden, DeSoto, Tipton County, you are also included in this. So this is a warning that's impacting over 1 million people. And let's take a look at the big picture, because there are a lot of warnings out there. As a matter of fact, we've got warnings that extend from parts of West Tennessee. We've got this warning for Madison County, Crockett, Haywood, Madison, severe thunderstorm warning until 10. Just to the south of that, there's another one for Fayette, Hardeman, Haywood, and Madison. That's until 10:15. The severe thunderstorm warning for Crittenden, DeSoto, Shelby, and Tipton till 10:45. And then you head south, we've got a tornado warning that is now in effect for a portion of Tunica County, Phillips, and Coahoma. That is until 10:30 tonight. And another tornado warning to the south of that. As a matter of fact, we've got a tornado warning on top of a severe thunderstorm warning for Coahoma, Phillips, Quitman, Tunica counties until 10:30. So a lot of activity out there, and all of this slowly making its way through the WMC Action News 5 coverage area. This is the line. This is as it's coming on through. I think everyone that's right here is in good shape for the rest of the night. I think things are shaping up to be a little better around northwest Tennessee. And behind this line, as this moves to the east, I think everybody that's behind this line is in pretty good shape. So once that moves east and crosses the river, these areas within the WMC Action News 5 coverage area, I think will be in the clear. But I want everybody who's right here to stay weather aware, especially northern Mississippi. There's too much on the screen. So especially in northern Mississippi and the counties that border Mississippi and West Tennessee, this is where we could see some intensification. And notice, we're already starting to see that segment of the storm start to bow out. That bowing echo, that is showing us the potential for strong, damaging straight line wind, and that's really starting to line up and push on into Tate County. Let's put a track on this, show you where that's going to go over the next few minutes. We've got the tornado warnings issued in there as well. We'll put a track on this entire line, this entire segment from the northern tornado warning down to the southern tornado warning, 8 minutes before it gets into Sledge. Marks, Mississippi, 12 minutes away. I want you to, if you're in any of these communities, take time right now to prepare for this to move in your direction. Get to the lowest floor of your home, the safest point of your home. Hopefully you know that by now. If not, now's a good time to search that out. A closet in the center of the home, the hallway, a bathroom that does not have any exterior walls. You want to be away from exterior walls, and you want to have as many walls between you and the exterior as possible, especially in a wind event. So Sardis, you've got 34 minutes to get ready for that. 39 minutes from Batesville, 46 minutes from Cortland, 55 minutes from Marianna, and 67 minutes from Holly Springs. So that's the track of this entire cell. Let's go back to Spencer Denton, because Spencer, you were zoomed in on that area in northwest Mississippi and all those tornado warnings. That was an impressive sight. So no visual confirmation of tornadoes there, but we do have 4 active tornado warnings going on right now. And I guarantee you there is some significant wind in this, and wind damage is very likely in that area. What about tornadoes?
It still looks like, Ron, we are looking at some circulation with that, but I really think this is a straight line wind event. As you said, there's more of a significant wind factor with this as it's starting to bow out. So as it bows out, that's the area we're going to watch pretty closely. So you can see right now the BTI is still at a 4.3, and it's mainly between Helena and Lula. So if you're in that area of Coahoma County, you are certainly going to deal with this. And again, this really moves into, and again, Helena in eastern Arkansas. And then as you cross over into southern parts of Tunica County as well, heading toward Tunica, you still are going to get some very heavy rain, and you're kind of on the northern edge of that tornado warning. But as we take a look at the, really take a look at the velocity on this, and again, like Ron was saying, I'm gonna draw this out for a second, because this sometimes when you start to see something like this, this is a line that's starting to bow out a little bit, and it has several little areas of rotation along it. So when I look at these, if you're near Lula, look at that, 79 mile an hour possible winds with that, 72 just west of Birdie. This is looking on the back side of it. Again, you can see the wind is much weaker on the back side of this and on the other side of the rotation, but still looking at a substantial amount there nonetheless. And as we take a look, let me go down to the storm relative velocity, and yeah, there's like there's 3 areas here of rotation that we're concerned about. One right over Powell right now, another one, the one I just mentioned, just west of Birdie and heading toward Falcon. So if you're in Falcon, Sledge, Tibbs, you need to be taking your tornado precautions right now. Again, and let me do this because we just had a new scan come in, so let me switch over. It's right here, and then we have another one right to the left, to the west of Birdie, and then another kind of weak rotation there near Jonestown. And as I go further south, Clarksdale, you're in a separate warning down to the south, but right now I'm not seeing anything that looks too impending with that. So those are the areas that we're kind of watching as far as the rotation. And if I put a track just on these 3 areas, because these are basically going like this, they're heading off to the east generally right now at about 35 miles per hour. So you can see some of the areas that will be impacted within the next 10 to 15 minutes. So if you are along and west of I-55, you need to stay weather alert, because these storms do still have the capability of producing a tornado, and also you need to make sure you're in a safe place as these storms approach. There will be likely some intense lightning and maybe even some hail, although the hail parameters with this, let me check that out real quick, don't seem to be quite as bad right now. In fact, Let me go down to the reflectivity. No, let's do this. The barometer. Yeah, I'm not seeing hail that looks as bad as what it was earlier. So that's certainly some good news, Ron.
Yeah, I think this is more of a straight line wind event. One of my biggest concerns, however, is the fact that all of this is going to be crossing 55. We get a lot of semis traveling through there, and you've got these potentially damaging straight line winds coming through there. That poses a significant threat to interstate traffic as it's moving on through DeSoto, Tate, Panola County, and points farther south. So until this whole thing clears, there is some concern for folks that are along that highway. I want to take a close look once again back inside the city of Memphis. Let's put another track on this. First of all, you got a lot of lightning still in here. Look at this right there around the Memphis metro. And someone on Twitter asked when I show the lightning strikes, these are lightning strikes over the last 20 minutes. So it refreshes every 20 minutes. So just in the last 20 minutes, we've seen 443 strikes of lightning here. And lightning has played a part in power outages, we do believe. Let's put a track. I thought I was tracking that. Let's put a track from that leading edge. Tell you what, I'm going to clear all this out, and let's just do it a little, give us a clean slate to work with. And now let's put a track on this. So here we go, tracking it from the leading edge through Shelby County. That's in Memphis in 4 minutes, and basically inside the 240 loop in Memphis. It's already reached inside the city. I think we just took a lightning hit here at our studios at 1960 Union Avenue. We were talking about lightning moments ago. It has created some problems for our computer systems. Hopefully you can still hear me through that. Again, back to the track. 8 minutes from Woodstock, 13 minutes before it moves into Bartlett, 22 minutes from Olive Branch, 28 minutes from Collierville, 31 minutes from Arlington, 39 minutes from Oakland, 42 minutes from Braden. That's for the portion of the storm moving through Shelby County. I want to track this portion that's moving through DeSoto and Tate County right now because that's going to come on through 55. It'll be in days in about 3 minutes, 9 minutes away from Robinson Gin, 11 minutes from Hernando, 19 minutes from Coldwater, 22 minutes from Olive Branch, and then we'll see it get into Miller in 26 minutes by Byhalia, just over 30 minutes away from you, and 37 minutes before it moves into Rock Hill. Now, let's track the southern portion and take a look at this as it's about to impact counties that border 55. Let's put another track on this. Here we go. As we take this off to the east through Quitman and Panola County, Marks, it's 2 minutes away. We'll see it get into Lock Station in 11 minutes, Senatobia 15 minutes away. You'll be into Sardis in 25 minutes. So about 25 minutes, anywhere from 15 to 20, 25 minutes before this line starts to cross 55. Batesville, it's 27 minutes away. It'll get into Terza in 33 minutes, and we'll see it in Mariana in 42 minutes, about 48 minutes before it gets into Galena. So this is what we're looking at. A lot of lightning in there as well. As a matter of fact, just taking a look at the lightning strikes on that cell in the last 20 minutes, 1,000 strikes. Lightning strike counter right here in West Tennessee, 439 strikes. Let's put a track on this cell that's moving on through Fayette County because that's about to move into Hardeman and McNairy counties. Hickory Valley, 7 minutes away. It'll move into Bolivar in 11 minutes. 23 minutes from Salisbury. It'll move into Pinson in 25 minutes, 32 minutes from Henderson. Bethel Springs, 43 minutes away, 48 minutes before it moves into Selmer, and it will get into Morris Chapel in 59 minutes. I want to take a quick look outside from our High Five camera in Midtown. Now, a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning, and heavy rain right now. Brian, if you can pull up that camera from our Midtown site here at 1960 Union Avenue, I believe it is pointing to the west, looking towards downtown. And the question is, can we even see downtown? Barely. A lot of heavy rain, a lot of lightning. Ariana Poindexter's been standing by. She's been tracking lightning or power impacts as a result of the storms. Ariana, what information do you have to share with us tonight?
Yeah, Ron, and you mentioned lightning. We're seeing a lot of it here. I'm looking at this downtown camera to my left here, and lightning every couple of seconds. That thunder kind of startled me for a second there. I'm going to take a look at some of the outages on the MLG&W map. I'm going to refresh it here. It says that there are currently 863 customers without power. Now, that's 39 outages in the area, and you may remember the last time we did this, there was only around maybe 300. So again, we're starting to see more and more customers, MLG&W customers without power. Again, as I've been mentioning all throughout the evening, MLG&W says they will have crews kind of on standby once this is out of the way, making sure that they are ready to go, working 24/7 long shifts to make sure that power is restored in a timely manner for all of those of you who are affected. Now I want to show you all a live picture that I think we have. You actually can see some of that lightning behind me there. But if we can go to that live picture, I believe this is on the I-40 bridge. You can see, first of all, you can barely see anything right now because there's so much rain out there. You see lightning every couple of seconds, I would say. So again, very slick roads, lots of rain out there, lots of thunder, lots of lightning. And so we will continue to check on these conditions for you all, keep you updated on what things are looking like. But we're going to send it back over to you, Ron.
All right, Ariana, I think we've got an extended or an additional tornado warning. This now for Tunica, Tate, a portion of Panola County, and northern Quitman County. So this new tornado warning just issued. We'll check with Spencer in a moment to see if there's anything in the way of significant rotation showing up. I see a couple little spots right there around the Tunica, Quitman County border, a little bit just to the north of that, just to the east of Helena for the most part, but it doesn't look especially troubling right now. I want to take a look at the shear tracks on this. This gives us an indication of where we've seen wind, and it's really come from this direction. So these storms are moving from the southwest to the east northeast, and those little dots of blue, that's where we're seeing the heavier wind tracks. What about hail? Hail has certainly been an issue. The larger hail was back to the southwest, just to the south of Duluth, just over an inch, and well to the west of Clarksdale at about a ½ an inch. I'm not getting a significant indication of hail right now, but we do have the tornado watch that remains in effect until 4 a.m. So tornadoes still possible as it's now entering an environment that's still got a lot of energy tonight as a result of not having much of anything in the way of rainfall or storms during the afternoon today. But this is the area of greatest concern right now. I want to track this once again. I'm going to put a track on this entire line, taking it all the way down from Tate County. Let's advance it east and let's take it on through Lafayette County. Give our friends in Union and Pontotoc counties a little bit of heads up as well. Hernando, 7 minutes away, 11 minutes before it gets into Senatobia, 27 minutes away from Batesville, 35 minutes from Pope, 49 minutes from Holly Springs, Oxford, 57 minutes away, 79 minutes from Myrtle, and 88 minutes from Ripley. So that's that cell, a lot of lightning, and as a matter of fact, just to give you an idea of the total lightning strikes in our coverage area for this evening, right now we've got 2,200 strikes of lightning just on that view right there. So that's a lot. We've got Chris Luther, who is in downtown Memphis. He's been tracking the storms with us tonight. I think he joins us live, or hopefully you're in a safe place to broadcast, I do assume. And if so, what do you have for us tonight?
Ron, yes, I believe I'm in a pretty safe spot here downtown on Main Street. And this is as hard as it's rained all night since we've been out here. Take a look at this. It is really, really coming down. Normally these bands of rain have been lasting about 5 or so minutes. This one's already been going on for about 8, maybe 9 minutes, stretching towards the 10-minute range. And I mean, look at the water coming off that awning up on top there, Brandon Lau, my photographer behind the camera. It really, this rain started coming down this hard just about, 10 minutes ago, and it has not stopped. We've had the loudest thunder we've had all night here downtown, and we've definitely had a lot of lightning strikes, but those have been going on all night. Here underneath this awning, I still have to keep my jacket hood on because the wind is pushing now. The wind hasn't been bad all night, but now it is really starting to push stuff around. And you can see this flooding that is happening here, this puddle that I'm stepping in. This wasn't here just 2 minutes ago. So, Ron, it's really coming down. People have had to scatter here throughout the nights, and then there's been some breaks of about 10 or 15 minutes of maybe just light rain, even some just drizzle. But for the most part, there's been those bands that have come through with the heavy rain, and this is the heaviest we've seen so far. So we're going to keep an eye on this. We're going to continue to stay out here and continue to stay safe, of course, and we recommend everyone at home stay safe as well. But this is the hardest rain we've seen so far tonight, Ron.
All right, buddy. We'll find some shelter. There's a lot of lightning out there. We want to keep you safe. Let's take a look and let's talk about how much rain is coming down, because we can zoom in on the area where Chris was in the downtown area. And let's just take a quick look at that and the potential rainfall that's in there, the rainfall rate itself. As we take a look, it looked like it was coming down at about 2 inches per hour. We may even see some higher returns than that. Yeah, that's close to 2 inches per hour. Chris is right there in the downtown area. Looks like it's just over 1.5 inches per hour. And very heavy rainfall all the way down through DeSoto County. There may be some hail skewing these numbers slightly, but on average, from along the Mississippi River in northern Shelby County down to parts of DeSoto County and on into Tunica County, we're seeing rainfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour. So the heaviest precipitation coming through right now at this time, but the most intense storm activity remains in northern Mississippi right now, and that's where we're seeing 2 tornado warnings. We've got 1 tornado warning right now. This is in effect for Coahoma, Panola, and Quitman counties. This is until 10:45 tonight. Another just to the south and west of that. That is a tornado warning for Phillips, Coahoma, Quitman, Tunica until 10:30. They are also under a severe thunderstorm warning until 11:30. Meteorologist Spencer Denton is glued to that area right now on the First Alert Doppler radar. I've been watching him work on this. Spencer, what are you looking at?
Still watching these little areas of rotation, Ron. It's just really small areas right now. I don't see anything that looks super intense, but it's radar indicated. No confirmation from anyone as far as I can tell. And even the National Weather Service now saying that this could continue to evolve into a quasi-linear convective system. So that means basically this is going to line up as one big line of storms, and we'll have these little bowing segments that come out of this. So that's what Ron and I have been talking about this evening, that as this moves into North Mississippi, that's more likely. But you can see a couple of areas, and I know there's a lot of colors on the radar here right now, so I'm going to circle and point out the area of rotation that we're kind of watching. Here's one near Dubs, Arkansas. As you cross over, actually, I'm sorry, that's in Mississippi, just across the Mississippi River. So, give you an idea. Here's Senatobia. So Senatobia is right here. The Mississippi River is back here, and because I know it's kind of hard to see what's going on, and this is right around the Dubs community there in North Mississippi, just north and west of Crenshaw. So this is heading into parts of northern Quitman County. So those are the areas that we're watching right now. And again, that one just weakened quite a bit. There's some wind, a pretty good amount of wind right now in the Crenshaw community. So around 38 to 40 miles per hour of wind in those areas. So we'll continue to watch that. And really where this line bows out is where we'll start to get a little more concerned. I'll switch over to the reflectivity here real quick and just show you. So this is just the heavy rain. So the red represents heavy rainfall. It doesn't necessarily mean the storm is severe, but this is super heavy rain that extends now all the way up to Hernando and Olive Branch. And as this line develops, and let me put a lapse on this because watch what happens. Just over the last hour, this has really begun to develop. And instead of these little individual storms, it's developing more of a line as it pushes east. So the leading edge of this line is what we'll begin to watch for damaging wind all along this line, and there may still be these little brief spin-ups in between some of these segments or lines within it. So there might be a couple of spin-ups here or there, but overall, I'm not as concerned about a big tornado as I am the actual wind, the straight line wind, which can still cause substantial damage. I mean, it can equal a EF0 or EF1 tornado. So you don't want to let your guard down, even if, and we do have the tornado watch until 4 a.m., but this is probably going to be a pretty big wind event heading toward Oxford. So once it gets to Oxford and Batesville and maybe Holly Springs and Ashland, this is going to be a substantial wind event for sure. And now it extends here into Memphis and Shelby County as well. So Ron, basically, as I look at this, as I look at the areas of rotation, again, could there be a quick spin up along this line? Absolutely, but nothing really jumps out at me at this time as anything that's major. You might see something a little different there, and if you do, let me know.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think it is. I think it's really a straight line wind event, and here's how the atmosphere reacts. If you've ever moved your hand through water, and let me zoom into this area right here, and as we push this forward, if you've ever moved your hand through water, air reacts very similarly, because if you move your hand through water, you'll notice you'll get a little sudden rush in advance with your hand as you're forcing that water forward, but you may also see little eddies that develop. Like, let's just say this is your hand right here, but and you're pushing forward like this, and that's what we're seeing right now. The atmosphere is forcing air forward, but where we're seeing the little bowing segments, you can get these little eddies or these little spins. There may be one down here. Well, the National Weather Service sees that on radar, and out of an abundance of caution, they issue the tornado warning for it. It could touch down. Oftentimes, any damage coming from tornadoes with this is minimal. Oftentimes, we see greater damage along the leading edge of the bowing segment. But tonight, because it is nighttime, we don't have spotters out in the field. It's nothing, they can't see anything. We're having to rely on radar data. So the National Weather Service issuing the tornado warnings based on that. And I think they're doing a good job with the placement on it. But I really do think, as Spencer mentioned, that this is going to become basically a straight line wind event that will impact virtually all of northern Mississippi as it moves on through. I think this area right here, we could see some straight line winds as well, but I think the threat for it is a little less. It is this segment of the storm entering this area of northern Mississippi where there's still some warmth, there is still some instability. That gives us a little more lift and allows it to push east a little faster. Now, I think it should be out of here by about midnight or 1 a.m., so we'll get this through here quickly, but in the meantime, we've still got a lot of activity out there. So let's take a look and go through, because just moments ago, the National Weather Service issued a flash flood warning for a good portion of Shelby County, and let me see if I can tag that, because it's for Fayette and Shelby County. We've seen 1 to 2 inches of rainfall in the area just with this band. And that's on top of what has already fallen. As a matter of fact, right around 9 o'clock, we'd already seen 2.5 inches or close to 2.5 inches of rain at Memphis International Airport. We've already picked up over 2 inches of rain here in Midtown. Additional rainfall is going to really create the potential for some flash flooding. So I think that's a big concern. And you saw when Chris was out live, the heavy rain coming down there. And with the rain falling on an already saturated surface, there's nothing left for this to do but run off and create the flooding threat. So right now, that's what we're dealing with as far as flooding goes. But we also have a lot of severe weather out there as well. Spencer took a close look at those storms in northern Mississippi. Let's focus on what's going on here in West Tennessee. Let me zoom in and let's take a look at these cells that are working their way through. Right now, we've still got this band that's coming through Shelby County. Let's put another track on this. And as we move that to the east, we'll advance it through Fayette County. Germantown, 3 minutes from heavy rainfall. You're already getting light rain, but now very heavy rain and some gusting wind and intense lightning about 3 minutes away. 6 minutes from Olive Branch, 14 minutes from Collierville. We'll see this move into Oakland in 22 minutes, 25 minutes from Rossville, 35 minutes from Somerville. It'll get into Laconia in 42 minutes, and Fayette Corners about 45 minutes away from you. Now, let's just go to the northwest of that, and let's track these cells that are rolling through Fayette County right now, and a portion of that's going to move on into Chester County within the next couple of minutes. So let's track this portion of the storm system as it's moving off to the east. That'll take that into Hornsby in 6 minutes. It will move into Pinson in 9 minutes, 17 minutes from Henderson. We'll see it move into Bethel Springs in 24 minutes, 36 minutes from Enville, 42 minutes from Morris Chapel, 46 minutes from Darton, and 53 minutes before it gets into Parsons. For our friends in Dyer County, Gibson County, most of Lauderdale County, you got a tranquil night coming your way. Storms are gone. Everything has moved east of you. You're in great shape. But you head a little farther south. We're not completely finished yet. In Tipton County, we've got some pretty good storms still working through there. It's going to be a little while before this gets out of Shelby County. And we've got a long way to go before all of these storms move out of northern Mississippi. So a lot of activity still tracking through the area. Heavy rain falling in Midtown. As a matter of fact, let's bring up that Midtown camera right now, and let me show you as we look to the west. Very heavy rain coming down. A lot of lightning also. Lightning, the second most deadly natural phenomenon. Lightning. The first most deadly natural phenomenon, whenever I ask that question, most people say tornadoes, many say hurricanes. It's actually flooding. Flooding is the number one most deadly natural phenomenon. Flooding creates major problems across the globe and here in the Mid-South as well. Spencer's got the storm reports up on the Lynx computer. You want to comment on that, or you can just put it up behind me and I'll show you where all the activity's been. I'll let you take it because it really got hairy in northeastern Arkansas earlier today, and you can see it from those storm reports, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. We had several tornado reports there in portions of eastern Arkansas. So as I zoom in a little bit tighter, and you can see we've had a couple of hail and wind reports here in Shelby County and then back toward Selmer, Tennessee as well. But really the focus on all the activity so far today and tonight has been in portions of Mississippi County, stretching down into northern Crittenden County and back into Cross County. So several tornado reports there, a little cluster, an area that saw a couple rounds that came through. And then as you go south, Mariana had a hail report there, and then even down toward DeWitt, Arkansas, seeing some tornado reports down there as well. So there have been several areas that have seen severe weather reports, and we're not done with this yet because, you know, we still have this whole area, and I'll switch back to the radar, that, as Ron was mentioning, could turn into a pretty big wind event. And I will say, hopefully my power won't go out here because the lightning has, like you guys, I heard the pop there at the station. There have been a couple of pops here that have been very close by. They sounded like they were very close to the house and very loud. So hopefully we won't lose power, but I'm telling you, these storms mean business still. Even if there's not a tornado threat, the lightning can still be very dangerous. And, you know, a lot of times we've had in the past, you know, house fires from lightning. And so there's a lot of dangers that you still have to be aware of. And sometimes I even tell my wife and daughter to go sleep downstairs because I don't want them to be upstairs if lightning strikes nearby or hits the roof of the house or whatever. So, you know, just to be safe, I say, hey, stay downstairs until the wind, the lightning, and everything is good, because you always want to be on the lowest level when there's any kind of weather coming through. It's just a good idea because with any thunderstorm, expect the unexpected, and that means you could have a brief spin-up tornado, damaging wind, intense lightning, hail. So we just try to stay safe as best as possible. But these storms, Ron, definitely still packing quite a punch.
Yeah, let's put a quick track on a couple of these cells. And first of all, let's start with this area that's down here that's right in northern Mississippi. This is getting closer to 55. Still a tornado warned area. That's moving off to the east at about 45 to 50 miles per hour. It's 4 minutes from Como right now, 9 minutes from Luxahoma. We'll get it into Sardis in 12 minutes, 14 minutes from North County Hospital. It'll be in Glenville in 20 minutes, 24 minutes from Chilahoma, and 28 minutes from Techville, 41 minutes from Abbeville. So this is the most intense portion of that storm, and that's where we're seeing the greatest threat for strong, severe weather or wind damage, I should say, right there along that leading edge. I'm not seeing much in the way of hail in that, so good news there, but there's a lot of precipitation. Right around the Memphis metro, I'm going to put a quick track on this. Spencer mentioned that he hopes he continues with power. He's in Cordova. We've had some power outages around the area. We'll check with Ariana in just a moment. But to give you a heads up on when power could go out and when that heaviest line will move through, it's about a minute away from Germantown, 7 minutes from Arlington. You may get a very sudden gust of wind on this, and you're likely going to find some lightning with it as well, a tremendous amount of lightning. Collierville, 12 minutes from you, 13 minutes from Hickory With. It'll get into Oakland in 19 minutes, 23 minutes from Rossville, 28 minutes from Mormon, and 31 minutes from Somerville. As I mentioned, a lot of lightning. Lightning plays a major role in our electrical grid in the Mid-South, and whenever we see this amount of lightning, you know you're going to have some problems. Look at that. 587 strikes just on that view. That's DeSoto and Shelby County in the last 20 minutes. 580, now 590 strikes, so it's going up. Let's go to Ariana Poindexter and let's talk about power outages in and around the area and the Memphis metro. Ariana, what do you have for us?
Yeah, Ron, so we are seeing a pretty big increase since the last time I gave you all an update. Currently, there are 6,664 customers affected with outages under MLG&W. That's about 101 outages in the area. So again, at last check, I believe it was around 800, 900. We are starting to see those numbers increase, specifically for MLG&W. If you do have an outage that you need to report, you can call that hotline. It's 901-544-6500. Now moving over to Arkansas, we are seeing a few outages in that area as well. Lafayette County, 39 customers affected. Lee County, 542 customers affected, excuse me. Let's see who else we have here. Crittenden County, 11 customers affected. So not too many that we're seeing in Arkansas. But again, going back to MLG&W, more than 6,000 customers impacted. I'm going to take a quick look at Mississippi before we head back to Ron. Looking like Quitman County, I've seen a big increase there. There are 226 Entergy customers there in Quitman County who have been affected by outages in the area. So again, we're keeping a close eye on this. Again, if you do have an outage, please report it to your utility company, and we will be sure to keep you all updated on what these outage numbers are looking like across the Mid-South. Ron?
All right, thank you, Ariana. Tornado watch remains in effect until 4 a.m. for much of the WMC Action News 5 coverage area, including Memphis and Shelby County, although I think our scenario, or the remainder of our evening, is shaping up to be a little better. We still got to get these storms through northern Mississippi, and just moments ago, the National Weather Service extended the tornado warning that was just to the west, and they have now extended that farther east, and that now encompasses a good portion of Marshall County. It's got DeSoto, Lafayette, Panola, and Tate counties included as well. This is going to be in place until 11:15 tonight. So a new tornado warning until 11:15 tonight, and that is the Polygon warned area right there. Let's put a track on this because it is now at 55 and it's making its way to the east, and that's going to take it on through northern Lafayette County, Panola County, and through Marshall County. So Como, it's moving through you right now. Sardis, 7 minutes away. 15 minutes from Glenville, about 23 minutes from Marianna, 28 minutes from Mahan, 34 minutes from Holly Springs, 43 minutes before it moves into Lake Center, and about 47 minutes away from Potts Camp. I want to take a 3D slice of this, and let's take a look to see if this cell is even producing anything in the way of hail. I don't see anything significant with that. And I tell you what, I don't want to use that radar site for this. Let's go back and take a look at the home. We'll go back and take a look once again at all the activity that we're dealing with. I really think flooding is going to be a huge issue for us tonight. We're also going to look at rainfall rates elsewhere in the area. And as I zoom in down here to northern Mississippi once again, let's take a look and let's see how much rain is falling. So wind, heavy rain, the potential for flooding, a major issue now in north central Mississippi. It's coming down at just over an inch per hour. Just to the south of Hernando, it looks like it is close to, what is that? Almost 2 inches per hour. So that's a lot of very, very heavy rainfall still coming into play across the coverage area. Lightning remains a major concern for us, especially around the Memphis metro, where you can see a tremendous amount of lightning strikes still making their way through. As we track this once again, I want to put a new track on the area that's now exiting or beginning to exit the 240 loop. So it pushes off to the east. This is soon going to be in Fayette County, Arlington, 3 minutes away from the heaviest precipitation and the most intense lightning with this. About 4 minutes from Collierville, 8 minutes from Hickory Whiff, 13 minutes from Oakland, 19 minutes from Warren, and about 24 minutes before we see this move into Mormon. Somerville, 26 minutes and 31 minutes away from Patterson. So a lot of lightning in here. The latest count on the lightning strike, and let's just take this from right around 302 north through Shelby County, 627 strikes of lightning in there. I don't see much of anything in the way of hail, indication of hail. Looks like there may be a little bit there in DeSoto County along 55, less than half an inch in size. Spencer's looking at something now. I see some rotation down around Coldwater. Let's go over to Spencer Denton. Spencer, that's that new warning. What do you got?
Well, there's a couple things I'm noticing with this, Ron. And first of all, yeah, there is some rotation there, and that's the area, that's the primary area they're warning for. This is a very big tornado warning polygon, and I think part of the reason is because this line is so big, there might be spin-ups along it anywhere, because you can see how it kind of weaves in and out. So if I drew a line like this, there could be anywhere you see those creases, there could be a brief spin-up tornado. So what they decided was, instead of issuing individual tornado warnings, they just issued for the whole thing. But the main rotation area is the area that I just circled. Let me go back down to it, and let me clear this off, and I'll just kind of give you an idea of where the main area is right now. And this is right around the McGee community, just to the north of McGee. It's hugging the county line there. So that's hugging, it looks like the, let me zoom out a little bit so I can get my bearings straight. So that's hugging the Tate County, Panola County line right now. So that's very close to Luxahoma, Crossroad. Again, this is going right along the county line. I can hear the heavy rain and the lightning coming in here into eastern Shelby County right now. So bear with me if you hear the lightning pop. But you can see that this is a very intense storm, and still that rotation is enough to cause concern. Now, as I look at the velocities on this, look and watch this. I'm going to query this real quick, because look at these winds, 66 miles per hour, 63, 64. So there's some pretty good wind along and ahead of this, and where that wind, it makes it, either you see these little spin ups on the apex of the bow. So when you look at the bowing line segment itself, and we just had a new update, so let me clear that off. But when you look at the bowing line itself, Where it bows out and where you see the little creases is where we would be concerned for the potential for any rotation. So maybe up here, down here, or on the leading edge of that line. And I can hear the wind and rain coming down hard now in eastern Shelby County. We probably have 40 to 50 mile per hour winds here in Cordova as I'm sitting here doing this, Ron.
Still have power. I want to take a look at this area right here because these storms are starting to get some height on them. As a matter of fact, storms that were coming through earlier, we had tops of about 25, close to 30,000 feet in some, but it looks like this is starting to get a little more height on it, especially this portion of the storm. And we can check that out by using our 3D tool to just slice the middle of the storm itself. And I tell you what, let's take it from that bowing segment right there and slice it and take a look. And we're getting returns up to 20, even close to 30,000 feet in some areas. So this is a 3D slice of the storm. So we are looking, imagine we've just taken the earth and laid it down flat and we've sliced the storm and we're now looking at inside the middle of it. This area right here where we may find some small hail that is developed, you can see that hail core is a little higher right here in this area, and that is around parts of Panola County. And as I move that in, it's a little difficult, but you can see this little purple area right here. That's an indication that there's hail right there. So what we have, you've got warm air that is coming in advance of the storm, and it's forcing air up. And then you get the downdraft of the storm, and that's air that comes down. Well, in this middle, between where the air is going up and the air is going down, you get water vapor that's forced up. It will freeze, may form a little small hail stone, and then depending upon the strength of the updraft, in other words, how much air will continue to force this up until it gets so heavy that it reaches the surface, that will determine the updraft strength is going to determine the size of the hail. We've seen hail this evening the size of ping pong balls, just slightly less than golf ball size hail. So it looks like this storm is definitely producing some hail from about 10 to 15,000 feet down to the surface, and that's what we are getting just from taking a look at this. So let's go back to the home view now. Lightning's still a big issue for us, as is wind. Right around Shelby County, we're looking pretty, well, much of the western portion of the county looking good. It's this area that is right here that's entering eastern Shelby County right now into Fayette County. That's where the strongest portion of the storm is at this time. That's where we have the highest concentration of lightning. That's where we have the highest concentration of rainfall, right around 1.5 inches, close to 1.5 inches in many areas. Maybe some hail right there in parts of DeSoto County. Could find a little hail down there. Look at that. Whenever we see the returns over 2.25 inches, that's an indication that there is extremely heavy rain or there's a pretty good hail core in there. So right now, I think there may be some smaller hail that's melting as it falls, and then that's contributing to the additional rainfall and the potential for flooding. So that's why we also have flash flood warnings that are prevalent across a good portion of the area. As a matter of fact, we've got this flash flood warning here in West Tennessee that's for Fayette, Shelby, Tipton, Haywood. That's until 1:45. Now, some of the other warnings that we still have in the area, severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings. Right now, tornado warning remains for DeSoto, Lafayette, Panola, Tate, and Marshall County. You're included in this as well. As a matter of fact, yeah. So that's going to be until 11:15. We've got another one that is just behind it. That's till 10:45, but one basically following another. New tornado warning just to the west of the Tennessee River Valley for Chester, Decatur, Henderson, and Madison County. That's going to go until 11:30 tonight. So we're still seeing additional tornado warnings issued around the area. We believe that the greatest tornado threat is maybe along the northern or southern sections of the Boeing segments that are to be found around the area. But Spencer and I are pretty much convinced that this is becoming a straight line wind event as it's rapidly moving off to the east. And as I put this into motion for you, this is what we're seeing. Check this out. And look at how all of this is just kind of coming together as it pushes in that direction. And right there along that leading edge, that's where we see the segment and the potential for the strongest winds and the greatest potential for wind damage. And notice it's still holding together down here. We're starting to even see a little moisture come up and feed into that system. That just gives you an idea of the amount of moisture flowing into the area and the instability that still remains there. So there's still a lot of energy to work with as this system continues to trek through the area. Let's go back, put some more tracks on this, give folks a better idea of what's up. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning. This just popped up. This is now for Fayette, Haywood, Shelby, Tipton, 11:15. So that remains in place there. Let me clear this out and we will start tracking some of these storms that are moving through the area. Let me zoom out just a little bit, or zoom in just a little bit to that Boeing segment right there. Let's put a track on this as we move it off to the east. Fayette County, get ready. Somerville, find your storm shelter because that's coming. Hickory Width, it's already on you. 6 minutes before it gets into Oakland. We'll see it get into Warren in 12 minutes. And then Somerville about 19 minutes away, 29 minutes before it moves into Fayette Corners. It will get into Whiteville in about 34 minutes, 37 minutes before it moves into Grand Junction, about 45 minutes away from Bolivar. Now the southern portion of that line of storms making its way through Mississippi right now. And that too is really packing a punch. I honestly think this is the most potent portion of the storm, and I think the National Weather Service in agreement with that, just from the fact that this is where they continue to place the tornado warns storms. So Glenville, it's a minute away. It's about 8 minutes before it gets into Mariana. Holly Springs, 19 minutes away from you. Lake Center, 27 minutes, 32 minutes before it moves into Potts Camp, and about 39 minutes into Ashland, 51 minutes into Myrtle, 59 minutes into Ripley. Spencer, I've been tracking these storms at about 45 miles per hour. I'm thinking they may be picking up some speed. As a matter of fact, the times that I have on these segments are based on a 45 mile per hour forward advancement. Are these storms picking up some speed, moving a little faster?
Yeah, they might be, Ron. And you know, these storms also, as they start to move east, they have the wind component with them that really their forward speed starts to pick up, and the storm relative velocity with these really helps to push them forward. You can see that we're seeing some gusts. Look at this, 67, 63 miles per hour. So between Wakefield and Bett and Aiken, these are some of the straight line winds. Now there still could be a brief spin up with this in this line, but we're talking 65 to 70 mile per hour winds, and that can do some damage. That can take down some trees, some power lines. That can cause some big issues. That can certainly cause power outages. So if you are in these areas, this is just to the east of, this is really just to the east of Coldwater. So this is all heading toward Holly Springs, Galena, and then stretching into portions of Marshall County. So if you're in Marshall and northern parts of really Lafayette County, just north of Oxford, that's where we're going to see some of the strongest wind gusts as of right now. In fact, I want to go back down, and I think I can even find some stronger gusts in this near Aiken. Here's the latest. These updates are coming quick because these storms are really moving at a pretty good clip now. So we're looking at, look at this, 65, 61, 66 mile per hour winds with this line. Let me go back up to portions of Shelby County real fast because I want to show you that area as well. And it looks like these winds are not quite as strong as of right now. So we're talking about 40 to 49 to 50. So we're still talking 40 to 50 mile per hour winds. and that's moving into parts of Fayette County, moving into Oakland right now. So that's what came through eastern Shelby County. We had those 40 to 50 mile per hour winds here, and now they continue off to the east. So the severe thunderstorm warning continues there. Again, they issued, like Ron said, that tornado warning down here, but I really think this is going to be more of a straight line wind event right now. I'm just not seeing a whole lot that tells me there could be something here between Antioch and Rock Hill. There's a little bit of rotation there and near Aiken, but if you're in Tullahoma, Marianna, and again, that's Marianna, Mississippi. If you're in Watson, if you're in Holly Springs, this is all moving your way, and Abbeville and College Hill, you'll get some wind in there as well. So Ron, again, like you said, I think this is speeding up. I think it's going to race across North Mississippi, and we may end up being done with this a lot earlier than 4 a.m. Once this thing really picks up speed.
Yeah, I believe so. Now, again, we are under a tornado watch until 4 a.m., as Spencer mentioned. Eastern Arkansas, I think you're in the clear. West Tennessee, I think everybody who's north of I-40 is pretty much in the clear. We're still going to remain diligent for the storms that are moving through West Tennessee south of I-40. Northern Mississippi, it's already in north central Mississippi, and if it's moving at about 50 miles per hour, as we suspect now, and I think we could see it out of the area by about midnight. So that would be good news for us. It would likely transition to a rain event. I think there will still be a considerable amount of rain, but our biggest concern right now are for the areas that are on the leading edge of this storm. I'm trying to get my tool button to come up here. So it's this leading edge where we see the greatest threat for damage. It's that little area right there. So we want to watch that very closely, and with that moving to the east at about 50 miles per hour, tell you what, let's put a track on it. Let's just track this whole line, leading edge. We're going to get a general track through it. I'm going to take it all the way through Corinth. So it looks like it'll be in Corinth in just over an hour. That will put it in Water Valley in about 38 minutes. Tupelo, it's about, you're looking at about an hour and a half away, just over an hour and a half. It'll get into Verona in 110 minutes. That's a little less than 2 hours. But I think by just over an hour, this will be into Corinth. So it's still going to likely be producing some significant rainfall, but I think our situation may be improving a little sooner than earlier anticipated, and that would certainly be good news for us. Lightning still a huge issue, and there is still a lot of lightning out there. This whole coverage area right now, let's just track northern Mississippi through West Tennessee. We're looking at almost 2,500 strikes of lightning. Let's go over to Ariana Poindexter. She's got some new information to share with us this evening. Ariana, what are you looking at?
Yeah, well, we are just seeing these, the number of power outages with MLG and W customers continue to increase. Currently, there are 9,550 customers affected. You see there, that's about 103 outages. Again, at last check, I think there was about 6,600. So again, we are continuing to see an increase in customers without power here in Shelby County. I'm going to take a look now at Entergy in Arkansas. If we have that, I'm going to load my computer here. All right, taking a look at these counties, we see Crittenden County, 11 customers, Cross County, 222 customers. We go down to Jefferson County, wow, more than 2,000, about 2,500 customers there. Lafayette County, 31, Lee County, 542. So again, we are starting to see the impacts of this heavy rain, this lightning, this thunder across the Mid-South. So a lot of power outages there. And I do want to remind you that MLG and W customers, if you do have a power outage, do not assume that they know about your outage. So please call the power outage hotline. That number is 901-544-6500. Again, more than 9,000 customers currently without power in Shelby County. Ron?
Yeah, a lot of activity still going on around the area tonight. Thank you. Thank you for that report, Ariana. I do think Memphis and Shelby County is getting into a little bit of a better situation tonight, but folks in northern Mississippi still got a long way to go before this finally moves on through. Right now, the heaviest concentration of lightning is right there around Collierville. Look at this little area of southeastern Shelby County. 269 strikes of lightning in there. And then you look into Fayette County, eastern Shelby County, on into Fayette County, we're looking at about 292 strikes of lightning in there. The rain has, well, it is diminished to some degree around the Memphis metro. Let me show you the rainfall rates inside the 240 loop now. It's coming down to a little less than half an inch per hour, but just to the east, west of Piperton, look at that. 2.73 inches per hour. There may be a little hail in there. Yep, and we're getting some indications of some small hail coming down about a half an inch, a little less than half an inch in size. When we get hail that small, it may be a little larger in the upper levels of the atmosphere, but as it falls through the atmosphere, warmer air at the surface layer and friction as it falls will allow that to melt. That contributes to very, very heavy rain because you're bringing down this ice cube. If you've ever seen an ice cube melt on the floor, yeah, while it's frozen there, you've just got a little ice cube, but after it melts, you've got a pool of water. Well, same thing happens in the atmosphere. As that hailstone falls, it melts, it turns into a lot of water. So that could be what we're seeing there, but either way, flash flooding could be an issue for the entire coverage area as a result of all the heavy precipitation moving through. And we do have some flash flood warnings that are in place right now. Still tracking this big warning for Fayette, Haywood, Shelby, Tipton County. That's until 11:15. We still have the tornado warning right now. This is for DeSoto, Lafayette, Marshall, Panola County. That too until 11:15. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning for Panola, Quitman, and Coahoma counties. That goes until 11 o'clock tonight, so about another 5 minutes there. So we take a look at the big picture here. Still a lot of activity. We'll put some tracks on these storms so you can get an idea of where they're going. And I tell you what, let's start right there with this area that's now making its way into Fayette County. We'll even take a look at what's moving on through Marshall County right now as well, because I just heard from a friend who's down in Byhalia attending a function in Byhalia, and they hear the sirens going off there. A lot of lightning in that area and heavy rain coming down in Byhalia right now. But let's track this portion of the cell itself. We'll move that to the east. And even though you're already getting some heavy rain in some of these communities, that's when that sudden gust is most likely. So about 2 minutes away from Mormon, 6 minutes from Somerville, 12 minutes before you get the potential for a sudden gust of air and the most intense portion of that storm. It's about 12 minutes from Laconia, 14 minutes from Fayette Corners. We'll see it move into Whiteville in 18 minutes, 24 minutes before it gets into Hickory Valley. Bolivar, 30 minutes away, and Tune, 32 minutes away. Now that southern section, and this encompasses the tornado warning, and we've got a new tornado warning. This just came out, just issued. This is now for Benton and Tippah County. Benton, Lafayette, Marshall, Tippah County. Tornado warning now until 11:45. Tornado warning till 11:45 with this. And as we put a track on this, let's track it, give our friends in those counties some idea of when that's coming on through. There we go. That'll get into Mack in 3 minutes. Holly Springs, 6 minutes away. 17 minutes before it moves into Potts Camp. You got 20 minutes to prepare Snow Lake Shores, 25 minutes for Ashland, about 31 minutes from Salisbury. It'll get into Blue Mountain in 38 minutes and should be in Ripley in 42 minutes. So that is a very fast-moving storm. I'm tracking this at a movement of 50 miles per hour. I increased the speed just a bit. I'd been tracking this at about 45 miles per hour. We're getting indications the storms are moving a little faster. Let's take a look at the southern end of that, because Lafayette County, Panola County, you're being impacted by this also. A little different form though. Here, let me do this. Let's grab it right there and then track it in this direction like this. Batesville, 5 minutes before you start to see the sudden gust of wind. You're already getting heavy rain, it looks like. It's right there, so you're probably already dealing with the wind. Pope, 9 minutes away from you. It will move into Oakland in about 18 minutes. Just over half an hour before it moves into Oxford, 40 minutes from Smallco. It'll get into Yakima in about 45 minutes, 62 minutes away from New Albany, and 71 minutes before it moves into Ecru. For areas that are behind this, you're still getting some lightning. You're still getting a lot of heavy rainfall, but I honestly believe that you're starting to see a little bit of a better pattern evolving. Yeah, there's still a lot of instability in there. I'm not seeing anything in the way of, let me see if we've got some hail in there. As I tried, let me go back. Yeah, looks like there may have been a little bit of hail in there, but it does not look like it is advancing farther east. So, not so bad there. Okay, so this is our tornado watch. It remains in effect until 4 a.m. Still got all this activity down here to the south. And as we take a closer look at what is moving through, I'm going to zoom in this area right here. Here we go. Let's take a look at this. Let's put a 3D slice on this. May not let me. I may be a little too far away from the radar site, but let's give it a shot and let's see what's in there. Because right now, storm tops, about 20,000 feet. We were seeing the storm tops, the ones that were really producing the strong wind, the greatest amount of severe weather potential, had 30,000 foot tops on them. These are now starting to become a little more compact. That's an indication the atmosphere is starting to stabilize a little bit and it's turning more into a wind event itself. So I think as we're looking at those storms in our southern counties, we're seeing that transition into more of a wind event itself. Heavy rain and lightning also. Still have that tornado warning though. We have to watch that closely. We're still dealing with the potential for flooding here in Midtown and across a good portion of the coverage area. Let me zoom in just a little bit to the city of Memphis and Shelby County. You can see that most intense area there. Right now, it's right over Rossville. Collierville, you're getting a lot of rainfall, a tremendous amount of lightning. It's got to be loud there right now. And just to the west of Moscow, that's coming your way. 649 strikes in that. Let's put a little track on this. Let's give the folks in Moscow an idea of when that's coming through. We'll track that through southern Fayette County. About a minute away from Sands Flats Junior High School. Moscow, 3 minutes away. It'll get into Spring Hill School in 4 minutes. Wilson in 4 minutes. Brooks School in 8 minutes. Pattersonville, 9 minutes. 45 in 11 minutes. Anderson Grove School in 12 minutes. We put the schools on here. Most people know where they live in proximity to a school. So by having schools here, it's a great landmark for people to be able to associate where that storm may be in relationship to where they're located. So when you see schools listed in our tracks here, we have these in here on purpose, so to give you an idea of landmarks in that area. So that was the best way we found to help you identify where these storms are in relationship to where you are. So back to the big picture here, taking a look at the entire WMC Action News 5 coverage area. Still a lot of activity, but I am encouraged by what I'm seeing back here, especially along and north of I-40. I know it still looks rather ominous there, but it's mainly lightning and rainfall. So a lot of lightning and rain. It's the wind component that still exists right here in northeastern Mississippi. And so I think this is the area where we still have the greatest potential to see the possibility of some storms intensifying and maybe even still producing some severe weather in the form of damaging wind, large hail, or isolated tornadoes. But in the meantime, we still have the tornado warning. That is in place for Benton, Lafayette, Marshall, Tippah until 11:45. Just to the north of that, we have a severe thunderstorm warning. That is for Fayette, Hardeman, Haywood, Marshall until 11:15. So it'll be interesting to see if that storm expires. Spencer, you're looking at the wind. That looks like a straight line wind. I see what you're looking at down there around from Moscow to Williston. let's check in with Spencer. That looks like a straight line wind signature, does it not?
Oh, yeah, definitely, Ron. Yeah, absolutely. And I've been watching this. It's about 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. And I was just looking at one of the reports on Facebook, or not Facebook, on the NWS chat. And it looks like there's a possible tornado on the ground. This is not confirmed near the Bar community in North Mississippi. So we'll have to check on that. I haven't seen any major signatures. I've seen some brief what looks like some weak signatures within this line, but I'm not seeing anything that looks terribly concerning right now. And I don't know if there is this little, like, it almost looks like a little spin up here along State Highway 313. So we'll watch that area closely. And, we used to track these in North Alabama a lot. And these little things can spin up and die out just like that because they're so really pretty weak usually along these lines like this. But occasionally you can get a bigger one. So it's something we'll have to keep an eye on within that area right there. But right now, I'm not seeing anything that looks too ominous. Certainly the high wind will be a threat. Also, just saw somebody on Twitter that said that they received the tornado warning for, I think it was for Collierville. And I don't think that there is no tornado warning for Collierville right now. So I'm not sure why they got that emergency alert until 11:45 p.m. because there is no tornado warning right now. It's a severe thunderstorm warning just to it kind of splits Collierville up. But you are not in a tornado warning as of right now in Collierville. But to your south, there is a tornado warning for portions of Marshall County and stretching into Benton and Tippah counties as well. So those are the areas right now under the warning. There's also this little warning up here in, I believe it's in Chester County and stretching back toward Lexington, Tennessee. But there are no other warnings other than those 3 tornado warnings as of right now. We have the thunderstorm warning for Fayette County and stretching just to the north of I-40 there. But that is about it. But wind certainly becoming the biggest factor with these cells here, Ron. And really, it doesn't even look as strong as it did earlier along this line. When I've been looking at some of the winds here recently, they seem to have gone down a little bit, which is good news. They're down to like 40 or 50 instead of 60 or 70. So certainly good news there.
Well, I'm wondering what the thought process is with the warnings, with the tornado warnings. I understand severe thunderstorm warnings, but I think this may be out of an abundance of caution simply because there is the potential for a little spin there. But I do agree that that is likely a straight line wind event. By the way, the person on Twitter who was saying they got a tornado warning for Collierville, get the First Alert Weather app. No warnings, no tornado warnings for Collierville. You would get those alerts, accurate, instant. It's a great thing to have on your smartphone too. And if you lose power, you can follow the coverage Spencer and I have going right now, right here on the First Alert Weather app. So let's get right to it. Let's talk about what else is happening out here. There is still a lot of activity, and it is mainly, this is really a lightning, heavy rain, wind event. And the wind event itself is confined primarily to northern Mississippi. So I want to not do that, and I want to do this and zoom into northern Mississippi, where I think we're going to see some heavy wind coming through. That is just about to move into Benton County and Tippah County in the next couple of minutes. Tracking this and moving at about 50 miles per hour, so it's about 3 minutes away from Potts Camp. Snow Lake Shores, it's 7 minutes away. Ashland, it will be there in 11 minutes, 15 minutes before it gets into New Canaan. 19 minutes from Wittentown. It will be in Blue Mountain in 22 minutes, 26 minutes from Ripley, and 31 minutes from Sherry. Now, this portion of the storm that is just to the south right there, that's going to move through Lafayette County. That will be in Batesville. It's in Batesville right now. Heavy rain, wind coming through there. 7 minutes from Abbeville. It's about 18 minutes from Burgess. We'll see it in Oxford in 27 minutes, Water Valley 27 minutes away from you, and 38 minutes before it gets into Yakima, 42 minutes in Sherry, and 51 minutes away from New Albany. So New Albany, you've got about an hour to prepare for this to come through there. So the tornado warning remains in effect right now for Marshall, Lafayette, Tipton, or Tippa, until 11:45. We've got one tornado warning, that too for DeSoto, Lafayette, Marshall, Panola. That's until 11:15. Let's check back in with Ariana Poindexter right now. We're getting some video coming in. You have some video for us?
Yeah, I want to show you this video. If we can pull it up here on your screens. There it is. All right, this is some video from earlier. This is out of Osceola, Arkansas. This is courtesy of William Frog, who is a storm spotter. You can see that tornado right there, that funnel. Again, this is in Osceola, Arkansas, pretty large there. You see some lightning in there as well. So again, this is just an example of how strong some of what we were seeing has been in the Mid-South. Again, this video is out of Osceola, Arkansas, where there was, I believe, Ron, a confirmed tornado in that area earlier. So again, here is just an image of what exactly that looked like. Again, large funnel cloud there, lots of rain in the area, of course, still lightning and things of that nature. I am going to give you all an update on some power outages here in the Mid-South, since I've been keeping you updated on that. As far as Memphis, we are seeing, again, rising slightly, but it is still rising. 9,830 customers affected. That's 120 power outages in the area. At last check, I believe it was 9,600. So again, we are starting to see more and more customers without power. Talking to MLG&W officials earlier this week, they said that they will be on top of it. They will have people out assessing the damage, working to get power restored as soon as possible. And again, please do not just assume that MLG&W knows that your power is out. You can call that power outage hotline, which is 901-544-6500. Again, about 9,800 customers with MLG&W currently without power. Ron?
All right, Ariana, new severe thunderstorm warning was just issued moments ago. This severe thunderstorm warning is now going to be in place for Alcorn, Chester, Hardeman, McNary, and that's going to go until midnight tonight. So it is for the northern portion of Benton, Tippa, Alcorn County. This southern leg is going to take a little longer to get through, but this is mainly along the Mississippi River or along the Mississippi border north into West Tennessee. So Alcorn, Chester, Hardeman, McNary County under a severe thunderstorm warning until midnight tonight. We still have the active tornado warning. That is for Benton, Lafayette, Marshall, and Tippa County. That is until 11:45 tonight. I do expect that to be extended farther east or an additional warning issued in the possibly a severe thunderstorm warning. There's still a warning that is just to the southwest of that, I do believe, for a portion of DeSoto, Lafayette, Marshall, Panola. That's going to expire in 15 minutes, but I really think the tornado threat for the most part has within that portion of the polygon is over. But as we take a closer look at what is moving through there, let me zoom in just a little bit and show you what we're still watching and still tracking, because this whole area, and I tell you what, I'm going to bring this down. This is it. I think once we get this part of the system out of here, we get this out, this portion of it, move this all the way through, we're going to be in good shape. That's the last, I believe, significant portion of this storm, and everything that will follow behind on that tonight will likely be rainfall. Now, there is a lot of rain that still extends back behind it, but it is that leading edge. That's where a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings back there, but it's the leading edge that's the most dangerous part of the storm, because it's along that leading edge that we're seeing the greatest threat for straight line damaging winds to come through. So until it moves out of this area, and that includes Hardeman County, still got to get through McNairy County. Here we are at 11 o'clock tonight, but I think as we get closer to midnight, we're going to be in much better shape because this thing will start moving out of here. That's going to be good news for us. Memphis Metro, I think it's over. We're done in Memphis as far as the severe weather threat goes. I'm going to go ahead and call that. There are some showers and storms that are back behind us. I'm not going to rule out additional rainfall, but I do believe the severe weather threat for the most part is ended. And as a matter of fact, we take a look at these cells that are back to the west and just looking for lightning strikes in there. 32 strikes of lightning, that's a pretty good amount, but you compare that to what's just to the south and east, there's 900 strikes of lightning there. You go a little farther to the north and east, and we're finding, look at that, 1,300, almost 1,400 lightning strikes. So where we're seeing the greatest amount of lightning and the Boeing segment of this line itself, that's where I think our severe weather threat is confined to for the rest of the evening, and that puts us primarily in this area right here. So in the WMC Action News 5 coverage area, Fayette County, Hardeman, McNairy County, you've still got a severe weather threat moving through. Benton, Tippah, Alcorn County, still under the threat of severe weather, as is Panola, Lafayette County, and really even southern Quitman, Coahoma counties. You're under the threat for severe weather, but I think once that line moves on out, we should be in for much better pattern developing overnight tonight. So tracking this all the way to the east, and there we go. Did not work. Let's try it again. Let me track this, and I'll just clear this out. Forgive my blunder there with this, but let's try it one more time and track from here to there. We'll take this to the Alabama border. So Ashland, 5 minutes away. You've got some heavy wind coming down and heavy rain coming your way in 5 minutes, 20 minutes before it gets into Oxford, 25 minutes from Ripley, 41 minutes from New Albany, 48 minutes from Corinth, 58 minutes from Boonville. We'll see it get into Baldwin in 68 minutes, and about an hour and 25 minutes away, just under an hour and 25 minutes from Saltillo. Now, taking a closer look at the potential for rotation within this portion, especially around the tornado-warned segment of the storm itself, doesn't really look that impressive. I think it's more of a straight line wind. I see a little bit, I see a little area where we could have some rotation or maybe even a little bit of a weak microburst. So I think that could be a part of it. I'm still seeing some shear tracks. In other words, this is a algorithm that allows us to see where the path of the strongest winds have been thus far. Really came through the southern part of the city. Concentration was right there through DeSoto County, northern Marshall County. Now the focus into southern Fayette County, and we could project that a little farther east into Hardeman County, maybe even extending as far east as McNairy County. But looking just to the south of that, we've seen some pretty good wind tracks that have moved to the north and west of Sardis Lake, mainly in northern Quitman, Panola, northwest Lafayette County, and then it's kind of making a push to the north and east on through Marshall County. So these areas right here, that's where we've seen the greatest wind potential tonight, radar indicated wind potential in these areas. But keep in mind, that whole line has yet to make its way through, and it's still got a little way to go. We still have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings and a tornado warning in there but I am encouraged by what I'm seeing elsewhere in the Mid-South. Now, there are flood warnings that are also being issued left and right now. We've got a flood warning that's in effect here for Shelby County. That's going to be in place until 1:30. Another one for DeSoto County. That will be in place until 1:30. We've got another flood warning that's in effect for parts of Haywood, Madison, Tipton County till 1:45. And there are flood warnings that extend all the way to the Tennessee River Valley. For Dixon, Hickman, Humphreys County, that'll be in place until 3 a.m. Don't think we're going to be tracking storms until 3 a.m., but we still have a little ways to go before all of this finally moves on out. And the speed itself has picked up a little bit as it's moving off to the east at about 50 miles per hour. But it's that bowing segment right there, and it's really obvious on radar, especially when you put that into motion. And I honestly believe that the most dangerous part of that segment is right there, along that bowing segment right there. So if we're going to see the potential for any wind damage, I believe it will be in Benton, Tippah counties, coming through Benton County right now into Tippah County. Spencer, you're zoomed into that, I think. Let's go over to Spencer. I see him looking at Lamar, Mississippi, home of Terrence, our videographer here, our ace videographer. What are you seeing? That's wind, isn't it? Straight line wind.
Yeah, I'm seeing it even north of that, Ron, as you cross over the state line just east of Moscow. Look at those winds, 72 to 74 miles per hour. There's a little bowing happening. Ooh, that scared me. I jumped here. We still have a lot of lightning, even with those storms passing Shelby County right now. 72 miles per hour, though, in near Center Point. So that is the area that we're watching for the strongest winds near Grand Junction. So Grand Junction right now getting some very strong wind. And again, even within the segment of storms, there's little segments that can bow out like that. So we kind of watch for the highest impact areas, and right now that one looks stronger than the one in North Mississippi. And I know the folks are still under a tornado warning there, but I'm not seeing any signs of a tornado at this time from Holly Springs to Potts Camp. So I know a lot of you are probably wondering, well, hey, what about us here? We're under this warning, and you're maybe not talking about it as much, but that's because there's really no signs of any rotation on radar as of right now. And again, I think they did that just in case there is a spin up in that area. And we've had some reports of possible spin-ups here or there, but nothing confirmed. So we're really more concerned about that straight line wind with that. But boy, this area up here in southern sections of Tennessee, let me clear this off one more time. Look at this. I mean, that is intense, very intense. And let me do the latest scan here and see what we're getting. 78, let's see, 81 now. So we're talking about 70 to 80 mile per hour winds. This is going to do some damage there across southern sections. This is moving out of southeastern Fayette County and into southern sections of Hardeman County. So this is definitely going to cause some problems for folks there, Ron.
Hit one of those skits quickly, and let's take a look at a couple of things. First of all, the storm motion itself, and then it's moving, it says 34 miles per hour, 39 miles per hour. And then the BTI, that's a 6.4. It's still kind of high.
Yeah.
On that. Yeah, so I think that whole thing, or a portion of that, is certainly rotating. I'm not convinced that it is producing a tornado, but I can understand why the Weather Service has the tornado warning there. And really, you look at where it is in relation to the bowing segment, it's kind of down there by that southern portion of it where we could see a little eddy developing there. But 6.4, that's interesting. That is very interesting, moving at 40 miles per hour. So I need to adjust the speed on my tracks here. There we go. Yeah. See, Spencer's... And you want to explain what you just did there?
So that's basically it's called bookend vortices. So on a line like this where you're bowing out on each end of the line, there's usually these little, sometimes it almost makes like these little swirls that can produce a tornado on each end. And I've actually seen this happen before in other instances, tracking storms over the years. We saw it quite a bit in North Alabama. And so I've seen them actually produce a tornado. And so those areas, and they just did the latest scan, so I'd have to move this over. But basically, these little areas on each end are more favorable than even, and really what's happening here, Ron, this was the area that was bowing out. The apex of the bow also can have it. And look, we're starting to see some rotation on the outer edge of that, on the apex where it goes out the furthest, so the farthest. So you're looking at Roger Springs. You might have something to have to deal with there, even though you're not in the warning. And a lot of times these come up so quickly that the National Weather Service can't warn for them because they may be there for a scan or two and then they're gone. So these are very hard to warn for, and they're very hard to really see unless you're watching every single scan of the radar, because they can come up and go away just like that. So we'll probably need to watch this because there may be something there, and eventually they may end up posting a warning for this. We're not sure yet though, but that BTI is something to keep an eye on, and it may just be that it's seeing that high wind. I mean, look at these, man, if I guarantee you, if I query this right now, I'm going to find some that's closer, 85, look at that, 90 mile per hour wind in this. There might be some rotation in this with that kind of wind.
At the very least, there's some straight line winds funneling down to the surface. By the way, excellent radar analysis. It's great to have Spencer on our team. We're very fortunate. He has worked in some of the most tornado-prone areas in the southeastern United States, and so to have his expertise on our First Alert Doppler 5 radar is really a pleasure, and it's a tremendous asset, especially when we're dealing with systems like this and moving through, and to have his analysis and his keen eye on what is moving through. So just to recap, we've got tornado warning that remains in effect right now. This is in northern Mississippi. This is the only tornado warning we have. That's going to remain until 11:45. We got a pretty large, severe thunderstorm warning. Alcorn, Chester, Hardeman, Madison County, that's going to be in place until midnight tonight. We're looking at flooding being a huge issue. Flash flood warning for Coahoma, Panola, Quitman, Tate until 2:30 in the morning. Memphis and Shelby County under a flash flood warning. That's until 1:30. There's one for DeSoto and Tate County until 2 a.m. And then we've got one in West Tennessee till 1:15, another one for Haywood County until 1:45. So counties along the I-40 corridor and northwest Mississippi under flash flood warnings right now as a result of the heavy rain. Let's go over to Ariana Poindexter. She's got some new information to share. We'll come back. We'll track these storms once again. What's the latest you have, Ariana?
Yeah, so I would say over the last hour or so, maybe a little longer, the number of power outages with MLG&W has been increasing, but if you take a look, it's actually a little lower this time around. And last checked, I believe it was 9,600. Now we're looking at 3,623 customers affected. That's 3,623 customers that do not have power at the moment. Again, still a lot of people, but a little less than what we saw at last check. All right, so now we're going to go to energy in Arkansas. Let me refresh this page. Oh, sure.
That area that Spencer was talking about, National Weather Service just issued this tornado warning. There it is right there. That is now in effect until midnight. It is for... Let me make sure I've got the tornado warning itself. I'm going to clear this out of here. So we've got a tornado warning for Chester, Hardeman, and McNairy County until midnight. That is the very same area Spencer was looking at a moment ago with the VTI of 6.4. We noticed that little nudge and the potential rotation that was there. National Weather Service seeing that now and issuing the tornado warning for it. As a matter of fact, Spencer's on it right now on links. Let's go back to him. I see you've got it highlighted right there, Spencer, and it's really intensified just in 2 minutes.
Yeah, it has, Ron. And you know what? That was on that northern end of that, from the apex to the northern end of that bow. So this is between Center Point and Lacey. So if you're in Hebron, Hornsby, Middleton, you need to take your tornado precautions. This could be a tornado on the ground in this area. And the reason is when you've got this strong, strong wind and you start to see, and I can almost envision this and see it. Let me show you. Let me draw this out for you, because this is the area. You see this little area. It's like a little inflow notch right here that's coming in. So the leading edge of the strong wind is coming out, and it's actually causing its own little like circulation. And so Lisbon, you need to be in your safe place as well. Even if this isn't a tornado, this definitely could be 80 or 90 mile per hour winds reaching to the surface. So this could cause some major damage. This could cause tree and power line and home damage as well. So if you're in this area, Porters Creek, Lacey, Middleton, Hebron, you need to be in your safe place right now. And I want to take one look at the latest wind on this, and look at that, 90 miles per hour. So we're talking about very, very strong winds and very possibly very strong rotation. And you can see it on the storm relative velocity, and you can even kind of see it on the reflectivity as well. So you can tell just by looking at all three of those that is definitely rotating, and there is definitely something there. So Ron, that was probably a good tornado warning, and I thought they might issue that, but in these areas, and you might want to put a track on that whole area and give a little bit better view, but that's moving off to the northeast pretty quickly.
Yeah, let's do it. And that was great analysis. As I mentioned, Spencer was on that about 5 minutes before that warning was actually issued. Let's take a look at what we're dealing with, and let's put a track on this, because we are seeing this moving off to the north. And I'm going to do two types of tracks, all right? The first track I'm going to do is going to be where we think the greatest potential for rotation is, and it is that area right there. And let me just make sure. I'm going to put a scope on this quickly to identify that area where we think, and look, it's right there. You see that little area right there, and you can even see that bright reflectivity right there. That's a good indication there's a little couplet that's in there. So with that, let's track from that area to the north and east. Hebron, 8 minutes away, 21 minutes before it gets into Rose Creek, 26 minutes from Selmer, 32 minutes from Finger, 41 minutes from Adamsville. Tornado warning until midnight tonight. If you are in the path of this line, I want you to seek shelter immediately. Go to the lowest floor of your home, go to the center of your home, put as many walls between you and the outdoors as possible. Find a center location with no windows. You want to be in the safest place and allow this to move on through. Now, we've had no indications or reports of damage with this system yet, but we're still working its way through. This is pretty intense. I'm tracking that entire leading edge now, not just the area of rotation, but the entire leading edge. And these are other areas where we can see the potential for wind damage. So 3 minutes from Middleton, 7 minutes from Walnut. Pocahontas, 13 minutes away. It will move into Essery Springs in 15 minutes, 18 minutes before it gets into Rose Creek. Selmer, now 27 minutes away. Raymer, 30 minutes and 35 minutes before it moves into Cabo. Now, North Mississippi, we've still got this warning here as well. Let's track this portion of the storm. And tell you what, before I do, I'm just going to clear this out. I want to move this up so we can get a better view of what I'm tracking here, because this cell is still working. We still have this tornado warning. It's for a portion of Tippah County. Right now, Benton, Lafayette, Marshall, Tippah. I really think Benton and Tippah counties are the ones that are under the threat from this. It's in effect until 11:45, so we've got just under 15 minutes left on it. But let's track it and show you where this is going to go. We'll do a couple of things first. Let's look and see if we're seeing anything in the way of significant rotation. I see some stronger wind values, a little bit right there. You see those little areas of pink. There's a little bit right there, and we got a little right here. But let's do this. We'll track the whole edge of the line, all right? So we put a track on this, and we'll take it from right here at the Mississippi-Tennessee state line and go east with it as it's moving on through. 2 minutes away before that leading edge gets into Walnut. Walnut, that means heavy rain, sudden gust of strong wind, and then a lot of lightning coming in behind that. 10 minutes before that happens in Blue Mountain. 11 minutes till it gets into Ripley. Cotton Plant, 22 minutes away. Dumas, 27 minutes. 33 from Corinth. We'll see it move into Jumperton in 36 minutes and about 39 minutes before it moves into Farmington. So that's what we're looking at right now. It does look significantly like a straight line wind event, but there are some little vortices in there or little eddies that are popping up, and that is a concern for the tornado potential. And with these wind speeds being, oh wow, and that is something else. I say, oh wow. Spencer, I'm coming back to you in just a second. We're going to track this. That is an intense wall of wind, a very intense wall of wind. It's moving at about 40 to 50 miles per hour right now. That's the most intense just to the west of Middleton. It is right on you now, Middleton. 7 minutes before that moves into Walnut. If we're going to see any potential for damage, I think we could see it right here in this area, right there. So Walnut, 7 minutes away. Rose Creek, 13 minutes. This will move into Cypress. This wall of wind will get into Cypress in 16 minutes, 19 minutes from Selmer. It will move into Eastview in 25 minutes, 31 minutes before it gets into Stantonville, and it's 34 minutes away from Adamsville. Spencer, this is looking very impressive on the radar view that I'm looking at right now. I'm going to put a scope on this, and let's see if there's even any, yeah, and I see a little bit of potential rotation in there. You've got a better radar. Let's take a look at that and tell me what you're seeing there.
I'm still seeing, that area of rotation near Hebron, like you're probably looking at, and maybe a couple of other areas along this this line. But boy, where it bows out, and it's almost it's trying to make that S-type look on the radar, which indicates that you could have areas of rotation within these little bends or creases very easily. So we'll want to watch this closely. But again, more than these, and these usually, typically, these are low-end EF0. You might see an EF1 with some of these. So the wind is not going to be a whole lot different than it would with the straight line winds, because the straight line winds on this are easily up to 80 or 90 miles per hour, at least aloft they are. I don't know if they're reaching the ground that fast or not, but if you're in any of these areas, you definitely want to stay inside and take shelter. That BTI is still at a 5.8, so it's still pretty substantial with this area as it continues to push east. Let me see if I can get the BTI to pop up again. Yeah, it's still at a 5.8, and we're talking about winds here at, let's go back out. Let me clear this off so you can kind of see. And I took the lightning off so you could see it a little bit better as well. But this tornado warning continues for Hornsby, Rose Creek, Robertson, those areas. And again, this is going down to the south, still watching this area down here. There's still a little rotation on the south end of it as well. That we'll continue to watch. Let me go back to the velocity, just the generic velocity. So this doesn't count for the storm relative winds within this. So it's just the basic wind within this storm before you start putting the storm track in it, or the storm direction and intensity. And what you're looking at here is, let's see, let me go ahead and query this. 78, 86, 78. So, I mean, these are very, very strong winds within this leading edge. This is probably going to do some tree and power line damage for sure there in either Porters Creek, Lacey, or Hebron. And then if you're in Falcon, down the road, Falcon, Selmer, Eastview, any of those areas, Essery Springs, down to Walnut. Once you get down to Walnut, I know a lot of folks down there. I've done some speaking events down there, and once you get down here, it's not quite as strong there along Highway 72, but still looking at a pretty substantial wind event down there. And again, we only have that one little piece of that tornado warning, and it's down here because of this area. There's still some areas of weak rotation on the southern end of this line. So when I put the reflectivity back on the very southern end, there's some possible rotation as well. And then there's another tornado warning down to the south of Clarksdale. So we're watching a couple different areas, and we'll keep you posted on that. But Ron, this still is a substantial wind event, if nothing else.
Yeah, it certainly is. And the new tornado warning, or severe thunderstorm warning, excuse me, it was just issued by the National Weather Service. The southern portion of this line, they now feel is just worthy of a severe thunderstorm warning, not a tornado warning. So Alcorn, Prentiss, Tippah, Union counties, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning this evening, and that's going to remain until 12:15. So this is the most intense area. We still have the tornado warn area, the tornado warning. That's going to go until midnight for Chester, Hardeman, McNairy County. Still some substantial wind in there. At one point, we were getting indications of winds just above the surface at 90 miles per hour, translating down to the surface. Tough to say, but most likely 50 to 60 miles per hour in those areas as it comes through, because we're hitting this at a certain height. So the data that we're relaying is based on the height that the radar is hitting it at. And the farther away we go from the radar site, the higher up in the atmosphere the radar beam goes. So we're hitting these storms here at around 5,000, between 4,000 to 5,000 feet. So that's the height on those storms that we're looking at. We've still got a lot of lightning in the area, a tremendous amount of lightning. And just looking at the lightning in our coverage area, we'll just take a look at that. We'll take it to the Tennessee River Valley. 1,300 strikes of lightning in there. And just into northern Mississippi, we've got about 458 strikes of lightning. The bulk of it in West Tennessee and farther east, about 900 strikes of lightning right there. We are seeing a little bit of intensification of lightning back to the west, but not much. 17 strikes of lightning. And even though we are seeing some heavy rain and thunderstorms for Cross, Poinsett, and even Craighead County, I think your severe weather threat is over. There are no warnings. There is no watch posted there. Now, we still have our tornado watch that's in effect for a large portion of West Tennessee, northern Mississippi. That's in place until 4 a.m., but I don't think we're going to be dealing with storms until 4 a.m. I think most of this is going to exit the area right around or shortly after midnight tonight. Looks like we may have a new, or that's still the existing tornado warning that was in place in northern Mississippi. So that is still there. That is about to expire, I do believe. Let's put some tools on here and let's check the info on that for you. That tornado warning, that will expire at 11:45, so about 5 more minutes left on that. But now this transitioning more to a severe thunderstorm. Let's put a track on it, show you where that's going to go over the next few minutes, because this is going to be impacting the town of Corinth. This is also going to be, it's really moving through Ripley right now. And so Ripley, 3 minutes away. So you've got 3 minutes to prepare for that leading edge to come on through. Sudden gust of wind, then the heavy rain. And Ripley, you're still in the tornado warn polygon. So that polygon in effect until 11:45, so you're still under a tornado warning. You may hear sirens going off, but about 3 minutes away from that leading edge moving in. Then as we get to Buena Vista, it's 10 minutes away. It'll move into Bluff in about 13 minutes. It'll get into Dumas in 18 minutes. We'll see it in Corinth in 23 minutes. Farmington, 29 minutes away, 37 minutes before it gets into Boonville, and about 42 minutes moving out of the area into Burnsville. So that's what we're looking at there. Again, a look at the big picture, taking a look at the 300-mile view, and let's put this into motion and show you these storms moving on through. We've got some streaks coming in here, but again, not severe. The severe area, or the areas that's still under the threat for the most intense precipitation and weather, are going to be these areas right here in advance of that line that's coming through right now. So here we are at 11:41, and we should see this exit the area and be gone within probably the next hour. I think in the next hour, we ought to be in good shape. Now, we've still got some energy feeding in down here, so we want to watch this area, or really this area right here. Let me just clear that. It's our southern counties, our extreme southern counties along the Mississippi River for any potential redevelopment. And the reason being, we didn't see a lot of activity in southern Quitman County or southern Panola or Lafayette County. So there may be some energy that lingers in these areas that this next round of storms could work with and possibly intensify with. So let's put a little track on that. Tornado warning just to the outside of our coverage area. I want to put a squall line track on this, and let's just track down this portion of it. So we'll take it in this direction. That'll move into Ruleville in about 3 minutes, 16 minutes into Marks, 30 minutes from Crowder, 40 minutes from Batesville. We'll see it move into Oakland in about 45 minutes, 66 minutes in Water Valley, just over an hour away from Oxford. So Oxford, even though you've seen your share of rainfall, this line is coming, and that's, again, about an hour and 11 minutes away. Bruce, Mississippi, about an hour and 28 minutes away from you, so just under 90 minutes away from that. Hopefully, we will not see additional tornado warnings issued, severe thunderstorm warnings in place for the most part there, and we still have the 2 tornado warnings that are working through the Mid-South. Well, it looks like they've canceled the one that was around West Tennessee. I do believe, yeah. It looks like that is gone. That may have been replaced by a severe thunderstorm warning. So now severe thunderstorm warning, Chester, Hardeman, McNairy counties. That's until midnight. We've got the other severe thunderstorm warning that is for Corinth, Alcorn, Prentice, Tippah, Union until 12:15. The tornado warning is just about to expire at 11:45, so we got about another minute there. Taking a look at the big picture here, flooding still a major issue. Lightning still a big issue for us as well, as we're still seeing a considerable amount of lightning strikes. But as this system now starts to make its way towards the Tennessee River, I think this portion of the storm, this most intense area of wind, is now starting to move away or out of the WMC Action News 5 coverage area. So a couple more counties to clear, and we should be in much better shape. Still have the tornado warning here. That is about to expire in 1 minute. Will be interesting to see if they issue anything for storms that are to the south and west of that. I think they'll likely be replaced with severe thunderstorm warnings, and then we'll let this move on through. Back behind here in Memphis, things are much more tranquil. We're dealing with rain. A look outside from our High 5 camera. Let's go to our Midtown camera, and let me show you, as we look to the west, we're still dealing with just light rainfall for the most part. Ariana, you have anything to add tonight? Any new information coming in?
Yeah, I'll give you an update on some of the MLG&W outages because we are seeing them start to go down. So right now there are currently 2,216 MLG&W customers affected. You'll remember, I would say within the last hour or so, we had more than 9,000 customers affected. So again, we are starting to see those numbers go down. I'm going to see if we can go to the Entergy map in Arkansas. There's the MLG&W one where, again, less than, well, I guess about 3,000 current customers without power. And then now if we could head to the Entergy map in Arkansas, we're going to pull it up on the screen there. And then if we take a look by county, you can just see, again, some of the numbers there. We have Lafayette County, 31 customers. We have Lee County, 513. Mississippi County, where we know that that tornado hit, 539. Monroe County, I believe there's 266. So again, lots of outages all throughout the Mid-South. This is a look at Arkansas. And then we're going to take a look at the Entergy map in Mississippi. We see Bolivar, 917 customers without power. If we go down to Tate down there, you can see there's 589 customers. Quitman County, 226. DeSoto, 94. Not too many there. But again, we are starting to see outages again across the Mid-South. But in the Memphis area, it does seem like those numbers are going down, which is good news. Of course, we will keep you updated on those outages. Do we have a TDOT camera? I don't know if we could bring that up to show. All right, there it is. This is the TDOT camera. Where is this located? This is I-40 and Danny Thomas, as you can see. You can still see it's raining out there right now, but I will point out that the last time we took a look at the TDOT cameras, it was lightning, I would say, every couple of seconds. We're not seeing much of that right now, but again, still very wet out there on the roads. Please be careful if you do have to drive. We can kind of barely see clearly out there because there are so many raindrops out there. So again, severe weather, first alert weather day here in the Mid-South. We will continue to keep you updated on what the conditions are looking like, as well as any outages in the area, and then we will again keep you updated. But we're going to send it back to you, Ron.
All right, Ariana. Still a lot of activity on our first alert Doppler radar tonight. Two big severe thunderstorm warnings that we are watching this evening. They're about to make their way out of the coverage area, so we have some promising news to share with you, but there's still got a little ways to go. Chester, Hardeman, McNairy County until midnight tonight. We've got this larger polygon just to the south for northeastern Mississippi, Alcorn, Prentiss, Tippah, Union counties. That's until 12:15, but we're still dealing with the potential for a lot of wind with this as it continues to move on through the area. Let's go back and put some more tracks on this and show you how things are playing out around the Mid-South this evening. And we'll go to this first storm that's moving through Hardeman County or into McNairy County right now. That's really moved in there quickly. Now I'm tracking this at about 50 miles per hour as it moves off to the east. So it'll get into Selmer in about a minute. We're going to see it move into Eastview in 9 minutes, about 16 minutes before it gets into Morris Chapel. Crump, it's 20 minutes away from you. 26 minutes from Savannah, 30 minutes from Savannah, Hardin County, and right around Bath Springs in 34 minutes, Clifton 40 minutes. So this is going to be moving on into the Pickwick Lake area within the next 30 to 40 minutes. So anyone who's watching us there, you need to be prepared for potential for strong wind, intense lightning, maybe some hail. We're not seeing a lot in the way of hail with this, but the hail tracker showing a little hail, right around just over a quarter of an inch in size, just to your north. So that's what we could be looking at there. But we still got this portion of the storm also that is moving into northeast Mississippi. This is about to impact Corinth, and it's already coming through Ripley right now. The tornado warning, it has been expired. That's great news. We'll take this to the Alabama border. Myrtle, a minute away from you. Dumas, 10 minutes away. It'll get into Corinth in 16 minutes, 21 minutes from Farmington. Then about 28 minutes before it moves into Boonville, 40 minutes from Baldwin, 45 minutes from Iuka and Marietta. It will be there in 52 minutes. That is that portion of the storm. We're still watching this area right around Lafayette, Panola County. You're getting very heavy rainfall. It looks like this is mainly a flooding event now, so our severe weather threat may be over there. We've got flood warnings that are in effect for Coahoma, Panola, Quitman, and Tate County until 2:30. Severe thunderstorm warning just to the south of the coverage area, Coahoma, Tallahatchie County included in this until 12:30, and right around Drew, Mississippi, and Bolivar, Sunflower County under a tornado warning until 12:15. But back to the big picture again, here's where I think our greatest severe weather potential still exists, mainly along that leading edge. So everyone who is within this corridor, that's where the greatest threat for strong to severe storms are. I think people that are behind this line are in good shape. So folks in Fayette County, your severe weather threat is over. Shelby County, severe weather threat over. For Crittenden, St. Francis, Cross, Poinsett County, severe weather threat over. Same thing for Tipton, Lauderdale, Dyer County, Haywood County, your severe weather threat is over. Not quite the case for Coahoma, Quitman, Panola, Lafayette, also Benton County. You've still got some strong weather moving through there. Tippah County, you've got a little ways to go. Same thing in Alcorn and McNairy counties before this finally moves on out. So we're still seeing this come on through and moving around at a pretty good clip. Spencer, you've got a good map showing the severe weather threat and where it's over. I'm going to come to you in a second. But you can see all of this making a move. We want to watch this whole area. See, that's kind of coming into the northeast. We want to make sure that doesn't come in and clip parts of Lafayette County, maybe even move into Oxford within the next hour. So we'll continue to watch that. But I'm really encouraged by what I am seeing here. Let's go back to meteorologist Spencer Denton. I saw you had a map a moment ago that said severe threat is over. Did you save that? There we go. You've got it.
Yes.
You can point it out. Let's go ahead and show that and let you analyze what's still working through.
Yeah, we still have that area to the east of that white line. So I tried to draw a white line for the areas that are okay. And again, we have some heavy rain still in eastern Arkansas, but I didn't see a whole lot of lightning. I can actually turn the I turned it on a second ago, and it wasn't that much lightning with that activity in eastern Arkansas. So again, if you're in Hernando, Senatobia, it's moving out as well. Helena, Marianna, Forest City, all of eastern Arkansas is good at this point. Still seeing some of those storms working through parts of Coahoma County and Clarksdale. And then as you go down toward portions of North Mississippi, still much of northeast Mississippi dealing with the heavy rain and wind as it's coming through. But again, the good news is we don't have any tornado warnings at this point. We have severe thunderstorm warnings, and the main threat is wind. There's really not any hail being reported within any of this activity. So this is mainly a wind event. And if you are in Corinth, Eastview, all the way down to Oxford, those are the areas still we'll have to watch for some of these stronger wind gusts. But again, if you are in the areas to the left of that line, of that white line, you are good. So all the way into Fayette County, all of Shelby County, all of DeSoto County, looking good at this time. So Ron, like you said, this is going to race east, and once it does, once it moves out of these next few counties, we should be good for the rest of the night.
And Spencer, that map and our thinking coincides with the National Weather Service and Storm Prediction Center, which just moments ago removed several counties from the tornado watch. Now, Marshall County, Benton, Tippah, Alcorn County, you remain, as well as Panola, Lafayette, Quitman, Coahoma. These are all the counties we pointed out prior to the issuance of this, or the reissuance of this watch. We also are going to remain under a tornado watch for Hardeman and McNairy counties, although your threat for tornadoes is rapidly coming to an end as well as this whole system continues to push to the east. So severe thunderstorm warnings continue in a couple of places. We've got this one that is over McNairy County. That's going to remain until midnight. We've got another one that is for Alcorn, Prentiss, Tippah, Union County until 12:15. Another one just outside the coverage area. That is for Coahoma and Tallahatchie County, southern Coahoma County. That's until 12:30. But these storms that are back to the west, we're watching these. These should remain below severe limits. So I'm not expecting anything in the way of additional development here. The main concern for storms now transitions to the south and east, and it's really for this portion of that Boeing segment moving through right there. You may see, and I think they just did issue a warning for Hardin County. We were talking about this moving into the Pickwick area, and yeah, Decatur, Hardin, Henderson, McNairy until 12:45. So a new warning there. So this warning remains in effect till 12:15, but the new warning now, right there along the Tennessee River, that's for the Pickwick area, that is going to go until 12:45. Flash flooding continues to be an issue. As a matter of fact, we're seeing flash flood warning DeSoto, Shelby, Tate County until 2 a.m. There's another one for much of DeSoto County that extends east into Fayette. That will be in place until 1:30. There are flash flood warnings up around Haywood, Madison, and Tipton County. They're in place until 1:45. And then we've got this flash flood warning that's here for Chester, Henderson, Madison until 1:15. And there's another one back to the west. Look at all this heavy rain that's moved through there. Coahoma, Panola, Quitman, Tate counties until 2:30. So flooding now a bigger concern, and with additional rainfall moving into those areas, well, it raises the probability that flooding could be exacerbated and impact more parts of the Mid-South overnight tonight. So we're going to watch that threat closely as well. But it looks like our wind threat for the most part is really starting to wind down now. That is good news as we see this start to make its move well to the east, coming through quickly. Tell you what, let's put a track on that little system. Ariana, I'm going to come back to you in just a moment, see if you have any new information to share with us. I'll put this track on here first, and let's give folks in North Mississippi an idea of when this is going to come through. Corinth, it's knocking on the door right now. We'll take that on down through Union County and advance that east. So Myrtle, 3 minutes away, 11 minutes now from Corinth. It's 22 minutes from Boonville. It's 31 minutes from Burnsville. It'll move into Reese in 32 minutes. Baldwin, it's 44 minutes away, 50 minutes from Tishomingo, and 58 minutes before it gets into Cherokee. Rainfall, very heavy with this. Rainfall rates within this line, the most intense portion of the line, range anywhere from 1.8 inches to close to 2 inches per hour. Even around parts of Marshall County, we're getting indications of 2 to close to 2.25 inches of rainfall per hour. Look at that, 2.83. There may even be some small hail in there. And yeah, we've had some indications of hail right there around Sardis Lake, north of Sardis Lake, right there around Marshall, Fayette County border, 1/2 inch size hail, and some indications that northern Tippah County seen a little hail just to the north of Ripley, just under 1/2 inch in size. So hail is definitely still a possibility with these cells. Wind, the greatest threat, new tornado warning. I think I just see it, just issued. New tornado warning. Yep, that is for Alcorn, McNary, Tippah County until 12:15. So a new tornado warning. National Weather Service calling that out in just the last couple of minutes. Let's take a closer look at this tornado or potential tornado and see if we can get a look at what they're seeing. I think Spencer's pulling it up too. Listen, we are on the periphery of the Doppler radar boundary, and so really we're having to rely on reflectivity to be able to get a good indication of what things look like there. And there is a little bit of an inflow notch right there. Let's see if, I doubt seriously, I'm going to do this, see if we can bring it up with velocity. Maybe a little something right there. There could be a little something in this area right there. It's tough to tell. Let me use the scope. Then I'm going to go to Spencer to see if he's got a better view on it. He's got a higher resolution radar. But there is some indication. Let me clear that out. And then let's put that back. Put the scope back in there. I still see wind. Spencer, what do you got? You seen anything that looks like it may be rotating?
Yeah, I'm looking at it from the Columbus NexRad down to the south, and there's a little bit of rotation around the Crow community, and this is just south of Highway 72, and it's moving east toward Biggersville, and this is around just to the north of Collins Crossing, and it's moving to the east. It's not a substantial signature right now, but it's enough that I can see why they issued it just in case. This is looking a little far up in the, this is looking at almost 5,000 feet in elevation So this is pretty high up, so it's hard to tell if this gets into that area. Unfortunately, when you get into Alcorn and parts of Tishomingo County, they're kind of in a zone of hard to see areas there in between radar sites. So it's kind of a dead zone that we call, because you can't see the surface, you can't see in the very low levels of the storm. But this certainly is some rotation at the very least, and so they're probably issuing just in case something is reaching the ground there. And I can see there's still a little bit of the shear rate is still showing a little something along that line right there. So if you were in any of these areas, just be aware that there could be a brief spin-up tornado here. It's likely going to be straight line winds that's going to be as strong as this brief spin-up tornado, but certainly something to keep an eye on right now. There might even be a little bit of small hail in it, but I don't think we're seeing a ton. As I look at the reflectivity, although there could be a little bit, there could be a little bit of hail in some of this. It looks like it's trying to intensify a little bit. So that's what we're watching right now, Ron. And again, it's one of those areas that's kind of a little bend in the line, and that's what we're watching for there in Alcorn County.
Out just a little bit and go to the southwest and look down around southern Coahoma, Panola, and southern Lafayette counties, just to your southwest, because and there's a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for Bolivar and Sunflower County. It clips southern Coahoma County. There's that tornado warning down there. What does the shear swath look like, or shear rate?
Let's see. It is looks like there's something down just down to the south,
and it's just outside the coverage area, right there around Whitney and Minot.
Yeah, there is a little something down there that we're kind of watching, but it looks like it's gonna stay just to our south.
So that'll move into Tallahatchie County. Okay, so I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
You know, we've not seen a lot of activity, Spencer, in southern Panola County. There may be still some energy there. Southern Lafayette County, Oxford's had some rain, but really nothing significant has come through there yet. So I want to keep a close eye on that until this all moves out. So that's the part of the cell that I'm looking at, and that's moving to the northeast. So that could bring that into our coverage area within the next few minutes. But right now, this is the area we're looking at. This is the tornado warning. This tornado warning in effect now for Alcorn County, as well as McNairy and Tippah counties until 12:15. So I'm going to put a quick track on this. We've had some reports of damage in the area as a result of storms. We're going to go to Ariana in just a moment, but let's take a look at this. First of all, I'm going to track this from two locations. The first location being where we think there may be a little rotation, right there. So Kossuth, 2 minutes away. It's about 16 minutes from Farmington, 25 minutes from Burnsville, 28 minutes from Pine Flat, 33 minutes from Iuka. Keep in mind, it's dark. We don't have spotters that can see what's going on out there tonight, so we're having to rely on radar data to give us an idea of what is going on out there. But now I want to track this whole line, because I think at the very least there's most likely some straight line wind in there. So Kossuth a minute away, 7 minutes from Corinth, 11 minutes from Jobs. We'll see it get into Farmington in 13 minutes. Glenn, 17 minutes away, 20 minutes before it moves into Rienzi. And then Burnsville, about 26 minutes away. It'll get into Walker Siding in 29 minutes. So that's a look at that cell. Again, a look at the big picture. The most intense area of storms now approaching the Tennessee River. This is moving out of West Tennessee in the WMC Action News 5 coverage area. It is almost out of McNairy County, Hardin County. You're still under a warning. We still have these storms that are down to the south, though, and that is across. We're looking at Marshall and Benton County right there. We've got Lafayette County here, Panola County back to the west, and these storms that are still working there. So there's still a lot of activity. This is not over by any means. That's not going to become severe, but that's going to add to an already rain-soaked area. It could contribute to flooding. There have been reports of some damage in northeastern Arkansas today as a result of storms that moved through and possible tornadoes as well. We were tracking a bunch of them this afternoon. I want to check in with Ariana Poindexter right now, and let's talk about some of the damage reports that we're getting in tonight. Ariana?
Yeah, Ron, so we mentioned a little earlier that we were checking in with different crews and emergency management agencies throughout the Mid-South, just seeing what type of damage they're seeing. So we recently spoke to Daniel Cole. He's the emergency management director in Panola County. We have learned that 2 homes have roof damage down there. That's in the Crenshaw area, as well as sporadic power outages, no injuries. I'm going to get to more of those power outages in just a second. We're also told in the Como area, there are some mobile homes that have flipped over. And then in Tate County, we have a house and a business that has damage. The good news in all of this is that we are having no reports of any injuries or any lives lost, so that is always good news. But again, we are seeing a lot of damage, and as Ron mentioned, when it gets brighter in the morning, we'll get a better idea of what exactly this damage looks like. Now, we do also want to point out in DeSoto County, there are some road closures that we want to tell you about. Nail Road between Highway 61 and the Bluff is closed due to flooding. So again, if you have to go that way in the morning, we want you to be aware of that. Again, Nail Road between Highway 61 and the Bluff is closed due to flooding. That is coming from the DeSoto County Sheriff's Office. All right, let's take a look at some of these outages because I've been giving you an update on these for the past few hours now. And so let's take a look at the MLG&W map. All right, so right now it looks like there are currently 2,158 customers that are currently without power in Shelby County. That's with MLG&W. That's about 97 outages. Again, that number way down from the last time I updated you all. I would say maybe within the last hour, that was up to 9,000 customers. So again, we are seeing that number decrease. If we can go ahead and take a look at, let's see, Entergy in Arkansas, let's see. All right, so we are seeing Lafayette County 31 outages at the moment. We've got Cross County 3, Crittenden County 11. So again, we're starting to see those numbers come down in Arkansas as well. Let's take a look at the energy outage map in Mississippi before we go. In Bolivar, 942. That's up quite a bit. I actually don't even believe that we've seen Bolivar on the outage map so far. So again, a lot of outages there. DeSoto County, 92 customers impacted. Quitman County, 226. So again, still quite a few people within the Mid-South having some outage issues. We are going to continue to track this in Mississippi, Arkansas, Memphis, Shelby County area, let you know what things are looking like, as well as keeping a close eye on the damage in all of these areas. And we will continue to keep you updated. Ron?
Thank you very much for that information, Ariana. Still a very active radar tonight and still a tornado warning in effect right now. Let's take a close look at that entire area. Northeast Mississippi and really West Tennessee, right there just to the west of the Tennessee River Valley is where the most intense activity is. Although this little cluster is starting to weaken to some degree in McNairy County as that moves off to the east. But look how this is holding together in northern Mississippi. The lightning in here is absolutely tremendous, and this has dropped a lot of rainfall in this area. 527 strikes just on that view. We have the active tornado warning right now for Elkhorn, McNairy, and Tippah counties. That is going to go until 12:15, so about another 6 minutes on that. There are also severe thunderstorm warnings in place. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect, this large polygon for Elkhorn, Prentiss, Tippah, as well as Union County. That goes until 12:15. So 12:15 for the severe thunderstorm warning and the tornado warning. So basically the tornado warn polygon is right there in the severe thunderstorm warning polygon. So a portion of that severe thunderstorm seemed to be producing a tornado, and the National Weather Service issuing a warning based on that. Just to put another track on this, show you when this is going to move through. It's starting to push right into Corinth right now. So It's in Allentown, about a minute from Allentown, 4 minutes from Elkhorn County Health Center. Corinth, 4 minutes away. 9 minutes from Farmington, about 12 minutes from Searcytown. Rienzi, 13 minutes away now. It's moving into Pine Flat in the next 19 minutes. We'll see it get into Burnsville in 23 minutes. These are areas that are moving through Lafayette County right now. Let's see if I can, whoops, let me get this off of here and we'll clear all of this out. And I want to zoom in and take a look at what's going on right now in southern Lafayette and southern Pontotoc counties, and unfortunately it won't let me do that. Let me try this one more time. Here we go. Got all the magic buttons in the right place here. Let's zoom in to this little area that is down here. This is what I've been trying to do, in the area that I want to keep a close eye on right now, because folks in Oxford, you've got rain right there along, it's really along and north of 278, but we got a pretty intense little area that's right there around Batesville, and then we've got some heavy rain that's just about to make its way into Oxford. So this is moving off to the east-northeast, or to the east, really. So Burgess, 3 minutes away from you. That'll move into Aylesville in 5 minutes, about 11 minutes before it gets into Oxford, 17 minutes from Kiel. Etta in about 22 minutes. Poolville in 29 minutes. New Albany, 36 minutes away. And then it gets into Union Hill in about 40 minutes. And this portion of the storm that's now approaching 55, that's going to move through southern Lafayette County, and that will move off to the east. Let me track that again, see if I can put a new track on this, and let's just take it through this area right here. So Oakland, 5 minutes away, 9 minutes from Long Branch, 13 minutes from Burgess, 20 minutes from Water Valley Municipal, and Water Valley, the town of Water Valley, 24 minutes away. Yakima, 30 minutes, 36 minutes, 44 before it moves into Lafayette Springs, and it'll move into Thaxton in about 51 minutes. There's also a lot of lightning in there too, so we're seeing a considerable amount of lightning, especially just to the south, right there around Webb, Mississippi. Wow, look at that. 245 strikes of lightning in there. Just to the north of that area, we're finding about 30 strikes of lightning. And what's moving through Marshall and Benton County right now is producing about 119 strikes of lightning. But as we take a look at the big picture, here it is. This is really the track of the lightning. And this is the most intense portion of the storm itself. So it's really right there along that line. Everybody that's to the east. And that's why that lines up. See where where we're seeing the hail tracks. That's the end of the hail tracks right here. So it's right there along that line. And then that coincides also with the tornado watch that's still in effect until 4 a.m. I don't think Holly Springs, Benton, Tippah, Alcorn County is going to be dealing with the potential for tornadoes until 4 a.m. It should be gone in about 30, 45 minutes or so. Let's, where am I going? What was that again? Ariana's got new video. Let's check it out. Ariana, what do you have for us?
Yeah, let's take a look at this video. This was taken in Bartlett, if we can pull it up, and it just shows some really intense lightning in the area. There you see it there. It looks like this is in someone's backyard. This is by Alina Miller, and again, this is in Bartlett, Tennessee, and you can just see that lightning just taking over the sky there. Very frequent at the time. I don't know what time this was taken. I would imagine in the last couple of hours. So wow, look at that. And then you kind of just saw like a very clear bolt there as well. So again, this is an example of some of what we have been seeing across the Mid-South. We've been seeing heavy rain, strong lightning like you see there in that video, lots of thunder. And again, we are getting a better idea of what this looks like as people are sending in their videos safely, of course. And then we are getting reports of damage, not in the Bartlett area, but we will likely, tomorrow as the sun comes up, start to see if there is any damage in the Memphis, Shelby County area, of course, across the Mid-South. So I just thought that was just some really incredible video, Ron.
All right, thank you very much, Ariana. Brand new tornado warning was just issued. The National Weather Service getting reports from a storm spotter of a wall cloud near Kossuth, And as a result, they have issued a new tornado warning now that includes the town of Corinth. And this tornado warning is now going to go until 12:45. So it is for Alcorn, Hardin, Tishomingo until 12:45. And again, that is due to the National Weather Service getting reports of a wall cloud in that area. So they have issued the tornado warning or extended it. It was expected to expire at 12:15. Here we are at 12:16 now with this new warning. We still have the severe thunderstorm warning. That goes until 12:45 for McNairy and Hardin counties. But the rest of the coverage area, I think we're faring much better. We're seeing nothing more than some flash flood warnings, mainly along the I-40 corridor, then Memphis south and along that 55 corridor. Back in eastern Arkansas, no longer any flood warnings there. Another look at this area right here in Alcorn County. We'll track this as it gets on through the county. It's already coming through Corinth. We're seeing that line move off to the east. That will take it into Jobs in a minute, 8 minutes before it gets into Rienzi. It will be in High Point in 10 minutes. Burnsville, 17 minutes away. Walker Siding in about 19 minutes. Eastport Marina, 28 minutes. Into Iuka in 29 minutes. And it should be moving into Blythe Crossing in about 32 minutes. Now, we've got this portion of the storm that's just now starting to make its way into, this is moving on into, I think my radar is frozen here. Here we go. Let me clear this out. Let's put another track on here. Tell you what, I am going to take a look at our next rad data. Then we'll put a track on this portion that's moving on through Tippah County right here, because that's going to move into Boonville in the next few minutes. So Jumperton, it's about 4 minutes away. Jumperton is Tendon Center, 4 minutes. Gville, 12 minutes into Boonville, Baldwin, 13 minutes away. Osborne Creek, 13 minutes, 15 minutes from Boonville. Wheeler School in 18 minutes and 25 minutes before it moves into Attitude. So that's the area, northeast Mississippi right now. That is the hot spot for storms and severe weather at this time. I think I see a new severe thunderstorm warning too, and that severe thunderstorm warning now in place for Alcorn, Prentiss, Tippah County. That's going to go until 1 a.m. So severe thunderstorm warning, Alcorn, Prentiss, Tippah, Union County until 1 a.m. That's for everyone that is within this polygon. And let me zoom back into that area. So everyone within this polygon right here, and you see that even encompasses a portion of Lafayette County. So this whole line, or this portion of the storm, is just really slow to track south and east. So Aylesville about a minute away, 5 minutes before it moves into Oxford, 12 minutes from Taylor. It will get into Yakima in 20 minutes. Lafayette Springs, 22 minutes away. Ecru, 30 minutes. Possum Trot in 32 minutes, and into Nixon in about 39 minutes. So this portion of the storm still creating some big problems. This portion of the storm right now moving on through southern Panola County, that will move into Batesville in 3 minutes, 8 minutes before it gets into Enid, 11 minutes from Oakland, 19 minutes from Scobie, Mississippi, and it'll be in Aylesville in 25 minutes, 31 minutes before this moves into Oxford. So Oxford, you've got this little portion of the storm coming in from the north, and then another one that will come in from the west. So you're going to get 2 rounds of rain out of this. Gums in 37 minutes, Yakima 40 minutes. So a couple of communities are going to get hit back to back with this portion, and then this portion coming in from the west and southwest. As I put the loop on this and just let you see how this is progressing, you can see it. This is really even trying to move off to the northeast, almost linear from west to east, or zonal, I should say, as it moves from west to east. So that line, even though I tracked that line a little farther southeast, it's not really moving in that direction. It's just kind of going this way. So I think this may actually be the line that impacts Oxford and Panola and Lafayette County before it finally clears on out of here and gets out of the coverage area. Right now we're seeing the storms rapidly exit northeast Mississippi, but we still have that tornado warning right now. Corinth, you're right in the in the thick of it with this. A lot of lightning in there. We'll check to see if we're seeing anything in the way of hail. 134 strikes of lightning just within that box right there. That's a lot of lightning. What about hail? Yeah, we're getting some indication of hail around there. Coming in just over half an inch in size. So it looks like some very significant hail. There's also very heavy rainfall in there too. As we take a look at the rainfall rate with this, right there over Corinth right now, it's coming down at just over 1.5 inches per hour, right around Tippah County at the Tippah-Alcorn County line, just under 1.5 inches per hour. And just to the north in McNairy County, heavy rain there, just about 1 inch per hour. So very heavy rain. Look at that, coming in at just over 2.3 inches per hour. Rainfall, I think, is really going to be the big problem as we get on into the rest of the overnight hours, increasing the potential for flooding. So I think we could have some issues with that. Spencer's looking at the rainfall rates too. You've got a pretty impressive map up there right now, and you're looking at that same area that I was focused in on. Thoughts on flooding potential versus severe weather potential? You see one being worse than the other?
Yeah, it really looks like, Ron, this is more of a, I think the flood and the wind event, although it's moving so fast that the flooding may not be as bad because the line's starting to really pick up, but it's putting down about 3 to 6 inches of rain per hour. So if it rained over that same area for an hour, that's how much rain you would pick up. Now, it's not going to be that way. This is moving through, and it only rains that hard for about 20 minutes or so. But again, you can pick up a decent amount of rain with this in a very short period of time. So be aware of that. And again, we're still watching that area of rotation. I am keeping an eye on that, and I'm not seeing anything that looks too bad at this point. Let me go back and look at that real fast, and I'll go back to let's go back to this radar site here, and I will look at the shear swath and the velocity. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything that looks too bad at this point, but again, we'll keep an eye on it. It is kind of far from all the radars, but still there's no signs of any strong rotation. This is mainly just some high wind, and the wind doesn't look quite as bad as it did about an hour ago or even 30 minutes ago, so that is certainly good news there. But this is going to exit out of Alcorn County very, very quickly, and again, it's already moved east of Corinth right now as far as the stronger winds go. As I look at the reflectivity, you can see there's still a lot of heavy rain falling from Mickey, Tennessee. I saw some folks posting on Facebook about that, down to Biggersville and down to Collins Crossroads. And again, there still could be some kind of weak rotation within this, so we'll keep you posted on that. But this should move on to the east, and heavy rain and wind certainly are the main threats at this point.
A funnel cloud near Corinth around 12:17, but no confirmation nor reports of anything that has touched down in that area. But that cell certainly rotating as it moves on through there. So that was a catalyst for issuance of the tornado warning that's still in place there until 1 a.m. So that's moving on through. It's pushing off to the east rather quickly. We still have that severe thunderstorm warning, though. Rather large severe thunderstorm warning. We got two really big polygons. One for Alcorn, Prentiss, Tippah, Union County. That is until 1 a.m. There's another very large severe thunderstorm warning polygon here for Decatur, Hardin, Henderson, McNairy County. That's until 12:45. That will expire in just over 20 minutes. And then this one will expire around 1 o'clock. But our severe weather threat really showing signs of winding down rapidly, yet we still have the tornado watch that remains in effect for northeast Mississippi, for Hardeman and McNairy counties in West Tennessee, also Madison and Chester County just outside our coverage area. I know folks in Jackson can still see us and still follow us, and that's the case in Chester County as well, but officially these are the counties that we cover in the Mid-South, and these are the counties that we issue or go on the air for within the Mid-South whenever there is severe weather in the area. But Rain has really played a big role in what's going on tonight in eastern Arkansas after a very stormy afternoon there. We saw strong storms that fired up along and north of the I-40 corridor, producing several tornado-warned storms. And we'll wait tomorrow for confirmation from the National Weather Service on what actually touched down. But we went on the air this afternoon right around 5:45. We took a little break around 9, and we've been back at it ever since. So it has been a long day of storms across the Mid-South, and they continue to churn east, taking them on into Middle Tennessee and northern Alabama. So the potential for wind event in northern Alabama is certainly there. We want to watch that area closely tonight. But right now, we have 3 areas of concern, and most of them confined right there to northeast Mississippi and to our counties to the east, McNairy County really in West Tennessee, and that is just about out. As a matter of fact, I think the severe weather threat for McNairy County is over. I really do. And I think maybe a couple more minutes before we see the severe weather threat exit Alcorn County. It is now just to the east of Corinth, and as we take a look, let's put a track on this again, show you how this is moving on through and pushing off to the east. So Glenn, about a minute away, Rienzi Elementary School, 4 minutes, 5 minutes before it gets into the town of Rienzi. It'll get into Dosky in about 7 minutes, Burnsville 10 minutes, 10 minutes from Burnsville Attendance Center, Walker Siding 13 minutes away, and 14 minutes before it moves into Central Elementary School. So with that, I do believe, again, that the counties in our coverage area are faring much better now, even though we still have this warning in effect until 1 a.m. That's the line right there. And if we're going to see anything in the way of potential rotation, I think it is just outside of us and just now beginning to cross this area. So that came on through Corinth. It's moved off to the east very rapidly. There could be a little bit of rotation that develops just to the south of Corinth around Prentiss County, but I think in general we're faring well. I want to take a look at what's down to the southwest as we get into parts of Lafayette County and back into Panola County. This is an indication right here that I think we're seeing some very strong wind coming on through there. And we still have severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect for areas just to the south of that. As a matter of fact, just taking a look at the NEXRAD radar imagery, this is primarily just rainfall. Now, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning. This was just issued then. So this just came out. So Lafayette, Panola, Quitman, Yalobusha County, now until 1:15. So 1:15, Lafayette, Panola, Quitman, Yalobusha counties. Let's put a track on this line, show you where that's going to go. This is the one we were talking about earlier, coming in from the west, crossing 55 right now, moving off to the east. Let's take it on through Oxford, show you how it's going to play out there. Tirzah, it's about a minute away. It'll get into Long Branch in 4 minutes. It will move into Locust Grove School in 9 minutes. Burgess, it's about 14 minutes away from you. And then we'll see it get into Water Valley Municipal in 15 minutes, 19 minutes from Water Valley, and about 23 minutes from the University of Oxford. So Ole Miss, that storm's coming for you in less than half an hour. It'll get into the town of Oxford in about 24 minutes. And with that, that's with that line moving at about 50 miles per hour, and it is picking up a little speed and moving through there very, very quickly. Taking a look at the velocity or the wind data on this, I think you're going to see the potential for some strong wind in there, maybe a little bit of a wet microburst in here somewhere right there around Batesville is possible. We could see those winds transition a little farther to the east. So that's what I am looking at there. As far as the big picture goes, we'll go back and take a look at the 300-mile view once again. Tornado warning still in effect now for Alcorn County, although that threat seems to be exiting the county very rapidly. Still a lot of lightning in there, though. We're a long way before we see the lightning clear out. Look at this little line right here. That area is producing close to 500 strikes of lightning. Earlier this evening, I mentioned the fact that lightning strikes the earth on average about 30,000 times a day. There have been storm systems that we've seen move through the Mid-South that have produced anywhere from 25 to 30,000 lightning strikes in just a matter of hours. So that gives you the idea of the intensity of lightning and its potential. Lightning, second most deadly natural phenomenon, flooding being the first, and a lot of flood warnings out there tonight. If you do not have to travel overnight tonight, stay home, stay inside. Let's let these flood warnings subside. This one's going to go until 2:30 for Coahoma, Panola, Quitman, Tate County. We've got another one just to the north of that. That's for DeSoto, Shelby, Tate, Tunica County until 2 a.m. There's one inside the city of Memphis until 1:30. Then we've got another one just to the east of that along I-40 for Haywood, Madison, Tipton County until 1:45, and another one that extends all the way along I-40 from the Jackson area. That is for Chester, Henderson, Madison County until 1:15. So we're looking at flash flooding really being a significant issue all the way from northwest Mississippi through Memphis and Shelby County along that 40 corridor well into West Tennessee and even Middle Tennessee. Looks like Nashville dealing with some flooding as well. But right now, our greatest area of concern is still to the southeast, and it's due to those storms that are still making their way through northern Mississippi. And this is the line, this area right here. So this line right there along that leading edge and down to there. So we get this through, we're going to be in much better shape as we get into the remainder of the overnight hours. Fortunately, sunshine's coming our way tomorrow. As a matter of fact, it's going to be a much cooler day. We're going to likely spend much of the day in the 50s and lower 60s around the coverage area, but we should enjoy a full day of sunshine, and that's thanks to the storms getting all of this activity out of here tonight. But the storms have certainly created some problems during the day and this evening and continue to do so for the coverage area as it moves on through. Right now, looks like it's starting to come together in Oxford. Spencer, do you have the Oxford camera that you can access quickly? I want to go to Spencer and take a look at what does it look like there right now. I'd be willing to bet it's dry. Maybe a little light rain?
Yeah, let me see it. Yeah, it should be dry. Let me check that out. Here it is right here. I will pull it up, and yeah, it's very windy and it looks like it's wet, but there is not any rain in the area yet, so there should be here very shortly heavy rain moving in and thunder and lightning as well.
Yeah, they're about 20 minutes away from getting some serious rainfall. So right now a little bit of a lull, but the rain, the heavier rain and lightning knocking on the door, and I think that's going to be a bit of a different picture within the next few minutes. As a matter of fact, this portion of the storm is moving in that direction. So if that continues, that's going to put that in Oxford in about 14 minutes. It's 8 minutes away from Aylesville. It's 11 minutes away from the University of Oxford, Lafayette County Hospital in 15 minutes, Kiel 21 minutes away, Yakima it's about 24 minutes away, 27 minutes from Cypress Springs School, and Toccopola about 37 minutes away. You are still under a severe thunderstorm warning, however, keep that in mind. So Lafayette, Panola, Quitman, Yalobusha County under a severe thunderstorm warning until 1:15, and you've got those storms that are moving through right now and continuing to push on through the area as they move out. Right around the Memphis metro, we haven't been and taken a look at Memphis in a hot minute. Let's do it because we've still got showers coming down, some heavier rainfall in there right around Germantown. Looks like it's in the Wolf Chase Galleria area. Rainfall rates around the Memphis metro right now, just to the east of the 240 loop, right around just over 3/4 of an inch. So about, 3/4 of an inch of rain per hour inside the 240 loops, coming down just over 1/4 of an inch per hour. So light to moderate rainfall overall. But as we take a look at the big picture, you can really see where the heavier precipitation is falling this evening. As I put the rainfall rates back on here and look at that line, wow. That's it. And where we're finding the heavier rain, that's also where we are finding the stronger winds. Something to keep in mind as rain falls through the atmosphere, it brings with it a column of air. And so you get very heavy rain, it's going to bring down more air with it and at a faster rate. So as that hits the ground, it can spread out, and that's how you can get some wind damage as a result of a heavy rain situation like we're seeing. But as we put this into a loop here, I'm very encouraged by what I'm seeing right now. Things looking pretty good, and I think the tornado threat for Alcorn County is over. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think there is not a threat for tornadoes in Alcorn County for the rest of the night. I think you're in good shape. Heavy rain is still going to continue. Thunder and lightning will continue, and maybe even some hail too. We've seen some, look at this. We're getting indications of hail right around Corinth at about, just under half an inch in size. Let me zoom in a little tighter and see if there was even anything larger in hail size there. Yeah, I'm just not seeing it. No indications of it there, so that's good news. So there was probably some hail, may have even melted before reaching the surface, and that contributed to the heavy rainfall that was coming through. Rain is coming down pretty good in Corinth right now. As a matter of fact, right there in the town of Corinth, we're seeing rainfall about just over an inch per hour. If you were with us earlier this evening, Chris Luther was downtown. It was coming down at about 1 to 2 inches per hour. That's what we're seeing right there around southern Alcorn County. That's just to the south of Kossuth. And so there's some heavy rain out there indeed, but right now I think it is primarily just rain. Taking a look at the velocity or the wind data, and the greater threat for the stronger winds now starting to enter Boonville. You get that little band of wind right there to the southwest, and it looks like winds are exiting Tippah County also, and really not a lot going on. The flag was flying in Oxford when we were looking at that camera earlier, but overall, somewhat tranquil pattern. Back around Batesville, it looks like the heavier wind signatures are just to the south, right there around Yalobusha County, or Tallahatchie County, I should say. So that's what we're looking at. Back to the big picture here. No rotation. This little area that is right there around, I didn't mean to draw on that. Let me zoom in once again. I don't know why that went away. Let me try. I've been tracking storms too long today. Let me zoom in just a little tighter. I want to go to this area right here. I wanted to show you something that was somewhat impressive. We'll go back to the velocity data. And right here around, it was right there around Batesville. Look at that. You see that? That is where we're seeing, I think, just a gust of wind right there. Nothing in the way of significant rotation, but just a gust of wind. And as we loop the rainfall on there, you'll really see it start to just kind of come in. And then as this is lifting to the north, but still trying to push to the east, it creates a little bit of a wind, a wall of wind there with it. But right now, things are overall heaviest precipitation in Panola County, but that's starting to move into Lafayette County. And once that gets on through, that should move it out of the area. That's our last county in our coverage area that we're watching for severe weather potential tonight. So we'll keep a close eye on Oxford to see how things play out there. But as we go back to the big picture here on the 300-mile view, taking a look at the coverage area, things looking much better. Again, the tornado watch still remains in effect for some. Does not include Memphis and Shelby County. A much better night lining up for us, but still a threat for some tornadoes, I think, just outside our area, really to the east of Lafayette County, south of Tippah and Alcorn County. So we can't rule it out. Somewhere in this area right here on into the shoals of Alabama and into Middle Tennessee along and south of I-40. So that's what we have right now. I want to check back in with Spencer quickly. I think we'll be able to wrap up our coverage soon, Spencer, just given the fact that I don't think we're going to see anything significant from that storm in North Mississippi moving into Lafayette County. And I think the threat for tornadoes in Alcorn County is over. Anything else that you think we need to be concerned with or should be watching right now?
No, I think this is pretty much that cell has moved into northern Tishomingo County for the most part, and the rest of the area, again, it's going to be some wind for those areas near Oxford, but certainly nothing that looks like it's going to be overly damaging at this point or cause major issues. We could see some 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts within that line, but we picked up, I was just looking at the 24-hour rainfall totals, we picked up anywhere from 3 to 5 inches of rain in a narrow band across Shelby County, stretching into northern Fayette County, and then to the south we picked up quite a bit of rain, 1 to 3 inches at least there. So quite a bit of rain with this system as it has moved through tonight and this afternoon, and we're going to finally see this come to an end over the next few hours. But otherwise, Ron, I think we're faring well and should be good to give everyone the all clear here very shortly.
I absolutely agree, Spencer, and just there's one small area in our coverage area that we just want to watch, and I really don't think anything is going to occur, and I think that's going to be right there around Lafayette County. We still have a watch. This that's entering Lafayette County right now, coming out of Panola County, doesn't show any severe characteristics there. Even though we have the severe thunderstorm warning here, the threat is actually farther south and east. And then this portion of Lafayette County that's not under any warning right now, I don't see any severe weather threat with it, with the exception of maybe this line that will come in, possibly producing some wind as it moves on through there. So Water Valley, it's 4 minutes away. Water Valley Municipal, 8 minutes from Water Valley. Velma, 15 minutes away. Yakima, 18 minutes. Dogtown, 27 minutes. Toccopola, 31 minutes. Thaxton, 34 minutes. And then Ecru, about 43 minutes away. The tornado warning that was in effect for Alcorn County has now been canceled, and that is now to the east outside our coverage area. Alcorn County getting rain. Tipton County, Tippah County, rainfall. Same thing in Benton. Union, Pontotoc counties, Union County, Prentiss County, you're still under a severe thunderstorm warning, but this just does not look to be severe at this time. And I think overall, a much better scenario is playing out across the Mid-South tonight as a bit of a more tranquil pattern is beginning to evolve. At the beginning of the evening, we talked about this going till about midnight. Here we are at 12:42, and the severe weather threat has just about exited the WMC Action News 5 coverage area, with the exception of just a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings that are still working in the area. I think overall, we are in a much better pattern than we had earlier this evening. I am still concerned to some degree about the potential for flooding, especially where we're seeing very heavy rainfall. If you don't have to travel from now until sunrise in the morning, I encourage you to just stay where you are. If you do need to get out before sunrise, ask yourself, is it essential? If you can wait, do so until the sun comes up tomorrow. We should be in much better shape, and that'll give us an idea of what kind of damage we saw as well once the sun comes up on the day tomorrow. But in general, I think we are in for a much better evening for the rest of the Mid-South tonight as these stronger storms are now moving on through. Some thunder, some lightning still out there, but there is nothing that we see that indicates the potential for additional tornadoes in our coverage area. There is nothing that we see that indicates the potential for additional damaging wind in the area. I think that threat is extremely low here. And the stronger winds that are associated with this have now moved out of our coverage area. So with that said, we are going to go ahead and get you back to your regularly scheduled programming here at 12:44. Ariana, do you have anything to add for the evening? Any additional damage or power outages to report?
No new damages. I will just say, as far as that MLG&W map, we are starting to see those numbers continue to go down. So at last check, at first within the last hour, maybe a little more at this point, it started at 9,000, it went down to 6,3. Now there are currently 1,979 customers affected. That's with the refresh that I just did on my screen here. So again, we are starting to see those numbers go down. Of course, we'll continue to, track this and keep you updated if we see anything else, but that is good news, Ron.
All right, yeah. Good news indeed. By the way, hats off to the crew at MLGW. While storms move through the area, their crews hit the street. So while everybody else is hunkered down, they're out there making sure people don't lose power, and they do a great job, and so we certainly appreciate it. I want to thank Spencer Denton for his excellent radar analysis tonight. Great job. We're very fortunate to have him on our team. I got to thank our behind-the-scenes crew as well. Our producers and directors tonight have done a great job. Ariana, thank you for your input. And I want to thank you, our viewers, for watching tonight. And hopefully everyone came through this night unscathed. And we've got some great weather coming our way tomorrow. Some nice weather Monday. We'll see another chance of rain Wednesday. But right now, it looks like it's just rain. And a quick heads up, there could be some freezing weather by the end of next week. Sergey Galindo will be talking more about that on WMC Action News 5 starting bright and early tomorrow morning and again at 5 and 10 p.m. So I hope you'll join us for that. I'm meteorologist Ron Childers. We're going to get you back to your regularly scheduled programming. If you have pictures, we want to see them. Send them to desk at WMCTV.com. In the meantime, have a great night, and we'll continue to watch this as it moves on through. Hopefully, we won't see you again until the news tomorrow. You didn't bring any beer, did you?